including the grass. That's right, this weekend you can't see these two new market-shattering homes. You can't even get the floor plan sent to you out of protective caution that these extraordinary homes might be lifted by others. You can, however, see the designs, see the lots we will be building these on this weekend, 1 to 4 at my Tomorrow Ranch model home. Now write this down, 830 Sky Park Drive in Hartford. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath homes, $300,000. Call my wife Jackie now, 262-628-9091. We're Miracle, a Christian-based company.
Hey, it's 620 WTMJ's Brian D. from my guy, Dr. James Michaels and Oconomowoc Dental Care. Well, it doesn't feel like it, but back to school is right around the corner. The time to go to the dentist is not in September, it's right now. Get those teeth for yourself, your kids, your family, all tuned up and ready to rock for the school year with my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. Whether it's a simple cleaning and exam, a more complex dental procedure, a teeth whitening, an implant, Dr. Michaels and the team at Oconomowoc Dental Care will always make you as comfortable as possible while you're in the chair and give both you and your family an amazing smile. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry is no longer a dream, it is the reality. Dr. Michaels' fantastic staff can help you out with a no-interest payment plan. We all have to go to the dentist, so don't put it off any longer. Get it done before the end of the summer. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. Call his friendly and caring staff today and make an appointment with my guy, Dr. Michaels.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Don't go running around with that sword. But with our pitching, we shouldn't have to worry much about runs.
Swing and a miss. Blew him away with a fastball at 94. Williams with the strikeout, and this ball game is over.
Our Brewers Pirates coverage starts tonight at 6 with Brewers Warm Up on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 9:02, it's 76 degrees and sunny, a high of 80 today and comfortable. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. Vice President Kamala Harris visiting Southeast Wisconsin on Thursday, providing comments about work being done to bring home Travis King, a U.S. soldier with ties to Racine being held in North Korea. In an exclusive interview with TMJ4 News chief political reporter Charles Benson, the VP says the White House has heard the pleas from King's family for a safe return.
The Department of Defense is working actively on this. Through our State Department, there's a lot of activity on this, and we're going to do everything we can to bring him home.
King has been in custody since last month when he ran over the border from South Korea in the demilitarized zone. A house fire on Milwaukee's west side impacting multiple homes. Crews were at 37th and Vernon this morning for 2 homes damaged from a fire, including one with blown-out windows. A person who lived in that building telling TMJ4 News what she believes started the blaze.
We have a generator hooked up for some power, so when it shut off, it sparked.
The Milwaukee Fire Department with no official release at this point regarding a cause or possible injuries. It wasn't that long ago that female police officers were rare. Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball sharing her experience as a rookie officer with the department to WTMJ's Libby Collins.
Some of the males thought that you were taking jobs away from them who needed to provide for their family. You could go to a house and they would ask, where's the real police, and call for a supervisor. And luckily, the supervisor would say, if you need service, this officer is here to help you. Otherwise, we're leaving.
Sheriff Ball talks about her journey to Milwaukee County's top law enforcement job with Libby on WTMJ Conversations this Sunday at 11 a.m. Construction on protected bike lanes expected to begin today on Milwaukee's east side. 3rd District Alderman Jonathan Brostoff is behind the project and tells WTMJ what bikers and drivers can expect the lanes to look like.
You'll see the same sort of parking protected bike lanes where instead of parking right to the curb, you move the cars out a little bit. They still have this, same access to the street, but it also provides a buffer for the biker, and it also delineates it better than just having the painted lane.
Brostoff also telling WTMJ work is expected to be done by the 14th of this month, with more changes to the street happening over the next year. And according to the latest jobs report released this morning, U.S. employers added fewer jobs than expected during July, However, several industries remain strong. ABC's Elizabeth Scholze.
This report just released by the Labor Department shows that American employers are scaling back in their fast pace of hiring. 187,000 jobs were added to the workforce in July, confirming that job growth has been cooling in recent months. But the labor market is still remarkably strong. The report shows that industries like healthcare, social services, and financial services added the most workers to their payrolls last month.
And the market's responding in kind to that bit of good news from the jobs report as we check your market numbers on the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow Jones up 101 points to 35,317 this morning. The S&P 500 up just 4 to 4,506. And the NASDAQ Composite up 3.5 to 13,963. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. Sports traffic and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Times 9:05.
Hey, it's Friday. Get out of your kitchen for a great fish fry at the amazing Mine Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mine Chef fish fry. The cod is all you can eat. It's just $9.99. Don't spend $16 to $20 on a fish fry. At $9.99, the Mine Chef is the best fish fry value in the state. All desserts are buy one, get one free, and the kids menu starts at $3.99. Your kids can safely play in the world-class game room while you finish up that fish fry. Saturday, the prime rib dinner is under $25. And the Sunday brunch is all you can eat and just $14.99, the best brunch value anywhere. Kids and grandkids under 3, they always eat for free. The super affordable Mine Chef restaurant on Main Street in beautiful downtown Hartford and right off the interstate in Oshkosh. It's easy access, plenty of free parking. Reserve your table for that $9.99 all-you-can-eat codfish fry today and the fabulous Sunday brunch. It's MineChefRestaurant.com. MineChefRestaurant.com. It is the amazing Mine Chef.
You can rely on Blaine's Farm and Fleet for the best prices on products that deliver, like 3M. Protect your ears and listen to music with 3M Digital WorkTunes Hearing Protection, just $49.99. Take 20% off all Shepherd hardware. Save on an all-terrain hand truck with 12-inch wheels or an 800-pound capacity quick latch convertible hand truck. Your choice, $99.99. And introducing Blaine's Animal RX. Get prescriptions from your vet, add meds to your cart, and let Blaine's Animal RX take care of the rest. Go to farmandfleet.com for all the details.
Legendary global music icon, Diana Ross. The Music Legacy Tour 2023. Diana Ross, celebrating the greatest #1 songs. Live for one night only in Milwaukee. Miller High Life Theater, September 10th. Get tickets Friday, August 4th at 10 a.m. at PaxTheaterGroup.com. Diana Ross, the Music Legacy Tour 2023.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Frelick swings, sends one to right, deep at the wall, gone for Sal. Another 3-run shot for the Crew, and piling on now. Couple of base hits.
Bob Uecker with the call as Sal Frelick made it 11-1 for the Crew. At that point, they'd add 3 more in a 14-1 winning effort over the Pittsburgh Pirates on Thursday. The series continues tonight at American Family Field with coverage beginning with Brewers warm-up at 6 on WTMJ. And in the NFL, Tom Pelissero from NFL Network reporting the Chicago Bears plan to sign former Packers tight end Mercedes Lewis. Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. It is looking great right now. Only one incident on the road, a broken-down vehicle on the off-ramp from National Avenue to, or on-ramp, I guess I should say, from National to 894 heading south. And that's it. Everything else looking pretty good.
Traffic is sponsored by Wagner Compressor, ready to service any facility at pressureisoff.biz.
Wagner Compressor carries high-performance, top-of-the-line compressors. Many offer a lifetime warranty and 60-day return policy. Contact Wagner at pressureisoff.biz.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, sunny, a high of 80 today, overnight a low of 67. Chance for late rain and thunderstorms on Saturday, a high of 80. More rain is likely on Sunday. Some of that could be strong, of those storms I should say, a high of 80 degrees. Morning rain possible Monday, then partly cloudy and 82. Tuesday mostly sunny, a high of 82 degrees. Right now in Madison it's 75, Green Bay 73, Waukesha is 76, and in Milwaukee it's sunny and 75. I'm Adam Roberts, Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Times 9:09.
Grab some cheese curds and cream puffs. It's time for WTMJ Now. Broadcasting live from the Bank 5-9 studio at the Wisconsin State Fair. Here's Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
Yes, we are live from the Wisconsin State Fair Bank 5-9 studios. A gorgeous day. The sun is shining, a little cooler than yesterday, which I appreciate. And in our midst, in our studios, typically we see you on Fridays. We had a special edition on the phone this week. Bill McCosh, Republican strategist, Joe Zepecki on the Democratic side. Gentlemen, welcome to State Fair.
Where's our fist bump?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't reach that.
Did you feel slighted?
I did. I felt left out of that. Yeah. Like we weren't part of the team.
You are part of the team.
You are.
And I feel very exposed here. So if anybody is like outside of the fishbowl making faces at me, I will never know.
That was a strategic decision to put your back to the audience.
Yeah, no,
so they can do all the weird stuff.
I like
behind.
that.
Gates don't open till 10, so you're safe.
Yeah, gentlemen, so we had a pretty good go-around on Wednesday about the Trump indictment. Now we've had the arraignments. I guess my takeaway, we'll go to both of you. We'll start with you, Bill. I didn't see anything or hear anything that seemed unusual about what this is the third now go-around for the former president.
So it was another full day of news for Donald Trump, free news. I was watching NBC yesterday afternoon. They covered it live. I assume all the major networks covered it live. I mean, that's a big, big deal. And it means that no other candidate in the Republican primary can get any oxygen while this is going on. So, while Democrats probably relish all of this, that, Trump has been indicted for the third time from a political standpoint, as someone who'd like to see someone younger and a fresh approach, this isn't helping us at all.
Joe?
I think two things have stood out to me. The first is the comments of former Vice President Mike Pence, who has been, pretty clear throughout his candidacy that he will never choose the Constitution over any person. He thinks that's what former President Trump was asking him to do. And post the indictment being unsealed, I thought he's been even a little bit more assertive and aggressive in saying the American people should know that President Trump didn't just ask me to pause on the certification. He asked me to reject, to, in essence, overturn the election. And that's a new approach from Pence. I don't know that it's going to help him in the Republican primary, but it is remarkable and noteworthy, I think.
And I read his quote on Wednesday. I think that is a change. And that was when I was going to start with this, because it's more than just the proceedings that happened yesterday. It is marking changes or shifts. And if Pence kind of starts to shift, and we'll get to a little bit about Wisconsin's congressmen and what they have not said so far, do you sense, Bill, the public, there's a lot of Trump people out there, they love the former president, they're probably not going to change their minds. But as one by one, the elected Republican congressmen, senators, former vice presidents, shift away from the former president, can that signal a shift to the voting public on Trump?
At some point in time. This is going to have to play itself out for a few months, maybe several months, for people to fully bake this all in. For the Trump supporters, they're calcified. They're not moving, right? So whether that number is 38, 40, 42, maybe even 45% of the GOP base, which means a majority are not with Trump. And I think that's the lane that Pence has decided, I'm going to go get that.
Does that surprise you that he said what he said?
He was an enormously loyal vice president to the bitter end, and until this event on January 6th, and he said no more. And he's been the most aggressive against Trump since the third indictment. People probably would have expected Chris Christie to fill that role, but
he was already there.
Pence lived it, right? I mean, he was the guy on the other end of this, and he has a story to tell. And I don't think it's a flattering story for Trump or Trump's advisors, but it's not going to help Pence in the primary.
It could help Pence in the primary in that his campaign has taken a page out of the Trump notebook, and now there are baseball caps that say too honest on them being used as fundraisers for Pence. And Pence is like 10,000 donors shy of qualifying for the first presidential Republican debate. So it may help him in the primary in that sense of fundraising and being able to get more attention on stage if he can get to the debate.
He says he's getting 1,000 new donors per day, which is sort of underwhelming for a national campaign. I mean, that's a statewide campaign. That's not a national campaign. Can he get on the stage? I don't know. I think Trump's people hope he doesn't get on the stage because he can tell a story from a very personal perspective.
This race for the nomination of Republicans aside, history will look kindly on the words and the actions of Vice President Mike Pence.
I think that's right.
And he may be looking at that. Sometimes the big picture stuff escapes those of us who like to, talk about the nitty-gritty details. That's a big picture thing, and I think history will look kindly on him.
Yeah, the whole Pence was right thing probably doesn't play out until 28. It's not going to play out in 24.
We're taking a break. Joined at the Wisconsin State Fair Bank 5-9 Studios, Bill McCosh and Joseph Peckley. I see we've got a question. If you have a question for the gentleman, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. Lots more to get to. We'll get to it after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, we have an entire team working for you, including wealth advisors, CPAs, and attorneys, all working together, all in one place. Let Creative Planning show you a richer way to wealth. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scavini. Today's exterior paint products typically last about 3 to 6 years. Paint manufacturers are counting on your repeat business. Home Shield Coating is a commercial-grade permanent exterior coating system that is designed to be a money-saving alternative to traditional exterior painting or staining. Here's what Home Shield Coating can do for you. Exclusive 11-step application process. Available in any color. 30-year combined transferable warranty. Residential, commercial, industrial, doesn't matter. Ceramic infused, 3-coat system, 17 times thicker than paint. 17 times thicker. Not sold in stores. Breathable, flexible, durable. Home Shield Coating saves you money by eliminating painting. That's a big one. Home Shield Coating is ideal for cedar siding, hardy board, aluminum siding, brick, and stucco, and is available in any color. They book fast, so give them a call. Schedule your free, no-obligation estimate at 414-323-1958. One more time, 414-323-1958. Or visit them on the web at homeshieldcoating.com.
The Wisconsin State Fair welcomes Tommy James and the Shondells with special guest Little Anthony. August 6th, the State Fair main stage presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. A lifetime of hits in one night. With the legendary Tommy James and the Shondells. Reserved seats on sale now at wistatefair.com. Wisconsin State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics are in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, and there have been thousands of patients that have received our pain relief treatment with zero out-of-pocket expense. Our FDA-approved treatments we'll use to remedy your pain are precisely guided to its root, to provide inflammation and cushioning relief to alleviate pain. What ends up happening is you begin on a pain maintenance plan, and how committed you want to be to alleviating your pain is up to you. But at the least, you can see us semi-annually to annually to, in many cases, significantly reduce pain in hips, shoulders, elbows, and knees. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
WTMJ Now.
Hey everybody, this is Max with another Wisconsin State Fair fun fact. Did you know in 2019 over 1.1 million people went to the fair? Back to the show.
Thank you, young Max, with this State Fair fun fact. He'll drop some knowledge on us occasionally as we celebrate the glory and the awesomeness of the Wisconsin. Do you guys love the fair? I do.
I love the fair.
I love hanging out here.
Absolutely love the fair.
Been coming for a long time. There are,
well, you're old, Joe.
There are famous pictures of baby Joe getting in a stroller, dead asleep, and a cow about 2 inches away from my face.
Can you tweet those out so we can make fun of you?
I mean, I can ask my parents if they can dig them up. Dad's probably got a 20 on that photo.
I love that. We all have our State Fair stories. Sandy and I spent a ton of time yesterday talking about some of the fun things, and I told it real quick because we want to get back to politics. In my college days, I was known to drink a little bit.
Really?
So we came to the fair as we did, and back then beers were $1 or something like that. We found ourselves at one point in the livestock.
Where'd you go to school? There were 25 cents at Schooners when I went.
I lived in a big city, Bill. So at one point we found ourselves in the same pen as about a 600-pound pig. I don't know how we got there. But a 600-pound pig does not want 3 drunk college guys in the same area as the pig. No. So it was a little scary for a second. But we escaped.
Was this a promotion, like wrestle the pig for a free bucket of beers?
It was just an example of guys drinking too much, which I've learned that lesson.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. All right, Bill McCoshen, a question for you. So we're talking about the Trump effect and what people say or don't say and how people can stand up or support, and we've seen both examples from the Republican side. I have noticed, Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, that it seems like, and I'm really curious on what you think this means, our Republican congressmen have been very quiet on the latest Trump indictment and other details. Do you think that's by design, or no one's shoved a microphone in front of their face? What is it?
I think they're all going to lay low on it and see what happens over the next few months, because I think there's a general interest, at least in the Wisconsin delegation and in the Wisconsin GOP legislature, to move on to somebody different, a new generation of leaders for the Republican Party. And, I don't think they want to get sideways. Trump's still in a strong position within the primary, not necessarily in the general. And
Although this
I can
state
defend
looks like
that.
it's going to be closer than some of the others.
Yeah, I don't think this state's winnable for Trump. I'm going to say it flat out.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's added any voters in the suburbs where he got crushed last time around, and you can only produce so many votes in the red areas north of Highway 29 up north, and I don't think the math works for him here, and I'll say that emphatically.
And it gets worse. Because the three of us on our sort of ongoing text thread talked about a new poll this week, reporting from Reuters, that half of Republicans, not Republican primary voters, half of Republicans in this country, if former President Trump is convicted, say today that they would not vote for him. And I believe that number will grow through the weeks, if not months, of a trial where some of this evidence is on full display. That could lead to a Republican wipeout, not just here in Wisconsin, but across the country. It could have down ballot implications. If half of Republicans go, I can't bring myself to vote for a convicted felon who is looking like he'll be the nominee, that's a political nightmare for Republicans.
Top to bottom. No question about that. And the question is timing. When does all this play out? When does he go to court? So, the first trial apparently is set for May of 24. That could get moved. Donald Trump could use some procedural moves to delay that. But this is hanging over the whole thing. So do we get to a point where in the city of Milwaukee in July of 2024, the RNC leadership and the RNC committee is forced to reconsider their own rules and replace someone who has earned enough delegates to be the nominee with someone who didn't earn enough delegates to be the nominee, because ultimately we want to win.
The thing about that, though, is if that would happen, you almost set yourself up to lose the presidential race, because you're going to have so many irritated voters that said, I don't like that action.
Yeah.
You can't win.
But it might be that to save the Republican Party, they have to
That's a good point.
Take the presidential loss and live to fight another day.
Right.
Let's take another break. We're joined by Bill McCoshen, Joseph Pecky, live from the Bank 5-9 studios here, along with Sandy and Steve. After the break, lots to talk about. We have a Senate race coming up, and no one wants
maybe we have a Senate race.
I hear Sandy Max is running.
Is that true?
You're going to announce today?
Don't answer yet. We'll find out the answer to that question. I'm going to say you're probably not going to run. That's my guess. Anyway, we'll continue the political conversation. I have some questions that we'll ask the gentleman from the Old National Bank Talk and Text line. Having fun at the fair. Join us on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. Stay in touch. You can reach us on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old.
Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you. No matter how many throws it takes.
We have a winner.
You've got this. With 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Stevie Nicks. One special night, August 8th, live at Fiserv Forum. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Stevie Nicks. Presented by FPC Live.
Radio guy emeritus Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Enjoy summer while it lasts, folks, because you know it's coming down the pike. Cold weather and high heating bills. It's not too soon to start thinking about new windows and doors from Hometown. They have options that fit every home, every style, and every budget, even yours. Their huge New Berlin showroom has the area's largest display of replacement windows, doors, and patio doors from national brands like Anderson, Pella, Marvin, Softline, and more. In wood, Fibrix, fiberglass, and vinyl, with scads of features including, wonder of wonders, blinds inside the glass. What's more, Hometown offers you dedicated project consultants with products installed by Hometown's own employee carpenters. Stop in today or call 414-329-1200 or go to hometownwindows.com. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need.
WTMJ Now.
We are joined from our Wisconsin State Fair studios, Bank 5-9 studios, I should say. Stephen Sandy with our guys, Republican strategist Bill McCoshen, Joe Zepecki on the Democratic side of things. Well, there's a Senate race coming up, and for my Republican friends, I guess the question, Bill, we'll start with this, and then Joe can give us his thoughts, because his candidate, Tammy Baldwin, seems like she's just fine with whatever happens, and she's had some pretty good luck in her other races. So what are we doing, Republicans, for Senate?
I think a lot of the candidates, those that are still considering, Eric Hovde being at the top of the list, Scott Mayer being, I think, in a distant second position, are the only two names that are still circulating. Rebecca Clayfish, former lieutenant governor, said this week, thanks but no thanks. Tom Tiffany, current congressman from the 7th District, said thanks but no thanks this week. I think part of the calculation these candidates are making is who's going to be at the top of the ticket. Because you have this awkward situation where you may have to outperform the top of the ticket. Now, it's been done before. Ron Johnson did it in 2016. Some analysts argue that he brought Trump over the finish line in the state of Wisconsin, which produced the first Republican victory here for president since 1984. And I think that's true. But he was an incumbent. He was an incumbent at that time when he did it. Now you're going to have a fresh face that would be asked to sort of potentially drag the presidential candidate across the finish line. That's a tall order. And I think people are struggling to figure out, is there a lane to do this? I think Tammy Baldwin's a tough out. I don't think it's impossible, but she's a tough out. And frankly, the senatorial committee has five states that they have as hotter prospects than the state of Wisconsin. So I think that's another factor too.
I mean, at this point, there's just no denying that whoever it is for the Republicans is like the fourth or fifth choice at best. I will add two other names, not because I think they're particularly serious people and serious candidates, but as more and more established, incumbent members of Congress say no, you're seeing weird cryptic tweets from the likes of Tim Ramthun, who ran for governor as a Republican and got smoked in a primary. All he ran on was the big lie. You've got former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark doing his podcast, making noise occasionally about how big his cowboy hat is. That might be the reality, and part of that reason is, of course, the political environment. Now, people in politics, for all that we trash talk them, they're smart enough to sort of go, do I want to go through this nonsense if I'm guaranteed defeat? And as we just talked about, if Trump is at the top of the ticket, you could have a Republican wipeout. You could run the best campaign in American history, and it ain't going to go your way. So there's some of that. And some of it is Senator Tammy Baldwin is a really good senator. She has played her politics well. She has worked more on stuff like, making sure that components for Navy ships are made here in America, making sure that Make It in America manufacturing provisions are in those big, Democrat spending bills that you guys like to complain about. She's doing the work. She's not getting distracted by the news of the day stuff. That bodes well for her.
Can we make comparisons between when Feingold was unbeatable and Ron Johnson came in and beat him as to what's happening potentially with this race? Can we make those comparisons?
I think you absolutely can, because the next part of my sentence is Tammy Baldwin is also a very formidable politician because she always runs like she's 10 points behind. She knows that in a 50-50 state like Wisconsin, anything can happen, and she's not going to take anything for granted, even if regardless of who the opponent is, she's running to win.
Ron Johnson beat Russ Feingold in a non-presidential year.
Yes.
We're talking about a presidential year here, and that changes the turnout.
True. Other names that we're not thinking about, I asked you during the break about Sean Duffy, somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't see Sean Duffy coming back. I don't see Rachel Duffy coming back, at least not in the near term. Maybe in the 26 gubernatorial, we'll see. But there are not a lot of other folks that are expressing interest.
Don't they live in New Jersey now?
Yeah, that's.
Do you guys have any candidates who live in Wisconsin full time? Jeez Louise.
Listen, moving back. By the way, you don't have to live in the state until you're sworn in. That's the law.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of the law, as you know.
Yeah.
And that's tough sledding politically if you're running from California, Connecticut, or New Jersey.
But it does bring up an interesting point, knowing these dynamics, and that it is extremely unlikely for a Republican candidate to beat Tammy Baldwin. Is there any political advantage to at least throwing your hat in the ring and getting name recognition and getting to another level?
Yeah, so you could do a twofer here. You could run a credible campaign in 24 statewide and lose, and then be a potential front runner for the nomination for governor in 26. So yes, there is a twofer strategy
Even if you're the 8th or 9th or 10th bell of the ball.
If you run the right campaign, you introduce yourself the right way, and people say, I like person X, and I'd like to see them run for governor in 26, which many believe will be an open seat. No, not a lot of folks think Governor Evers will run for a third term. You guys can ask him that when he's on your show next week.
Next Wednesday, 9:40.
So there is a possibility for a twofer candidacy here.
Real quick from the Old National Bank talking text line from the 414. I struggle with engaging the other side that I disagree with. How can you encourage listeners to do a better job of cooperation, collaboration in these tense political times? Kind of a big picture question, but I love it because that's kind of my goal, is to have like honest conversations where we don't just yell at each other, which kind of predominated the political world now. What do you think?
My advice is take the temperature down. You know, Joe and I can have a conversation. We don't have to agree. Oftentimes we don't agree, but we're not. We can still have a pork sandwich after the show,
or an elephant ear,
or elephant ears.
What I would say is ask questions.
Yeah.
Don't opine. Ask questions. And don't be afraid, by the way, to shush your own family members or members of your political tribe when they're being knuckleheads. I find myself having to do this with some of my family members. Republicans are not bad people. They see the world a little differently than Democrats. That's okay.
And don't be sucked up by groupthink.
Yeah.
Right? Just because everyone in your friend group thinks something doesn't mean you have to think it. Do your own research and use multiple sources. Don't just go to one source for your information.
That's why they're here. The wisdom of Joe Sapecki and Bill McCoshen. We'll take a break. Another break. Your questions welcome. Old National Bank talking text line 855-616-1620. We got a lot more to talk about. There's another debate happening that I don't know if people are going to pay attention or not. Ron DeSantis, maybe the runner-up, maybe the guy, who knows. We'll see what happens with Trump. And then Gavin Newsom challenging Joe Biden. We'll see if that means anything to the gentleman after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Get huge savings this weekend only during Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Stock up on all your favorites, like 25 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $13.99. 40-pound bags of Superior Premium Grade Hardwood Fuel Pellets, 2 for $10. 40 pounds of Diamond Crystal Iron Fighter Water Softener Pellets, only $5.89. Or pick up a Sterilite 18-gallon storage tote, on sale, just $4.99. We have what you need for your everyday life. Fleet Farm.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. It's where to gear up, get more for your trade, and get in on enticing offers on Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC favorites, all while enjoying the genuine guest care that you're looking for to navigate today's car market with confidence. Choose one that's in stock today, reserve one that's on the way, or place an order for expert handling by the trusted team at Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer per 2022 Buick and GMC Zone sales records. Another option, explore the incredible value and peace of mind of a GM certified pre-owned model with benefits like 2 factory-backed warranties, scheduled maintenance, courtesy transportation, and more. Driving a GM certified model from Holiday is a no-brainer. As a repeat customer and fan myself, I know from experience you'll be in great hands with Team Holiday on your side. Find yours and discover the difference during the summer road trip sale at Holiday, Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and at HolidayGM.com. It's worth the trip.
It's WTMJ Now.
We're having fun at the fair, Wisconsin State Fair, that is. Steve and Sandy, Bank 59 Studios. You can come out and see us. The CEO of the fair is milling around the area right now.
It would be a bold move if you broadcast from a state fair other than Wisconsin.
If I did, yes, that would be a very bold move and maybe career-ending. just going to put that out there. Your questions are welcome. We are welcoming those questions, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank Talk and Text line. I want to just get your take quickly on this second debate that I think is happening live on Fox News. Is that right? Sean Hannity going to host this?
He is.
Gavin Newsom from California and Ron DeSantis, who a lot of folks 6 months ago thought would be the guy if Trump faltered, and Trump hasn't faltered, so he's kind of in that weird runner-up status, whatever that means.
Yeah.
What do you make of this debate? What does it prove? What does it say? What is it going to do?
I give both campaigns credit. So I'm going to tell your listeners, I was part of something very similar to this in 1988. Steve King was my candidate. He was the conservative before conservative was cool in the state of Wisconsin. It was an open seat. Proxmire had announced he wasn't running. Herb Kohl was the far and away front runner on the Democratic side. But former Democratic Governor Tony Earl was also in the Democratic primary. So we decided to create the royal debates between a king and an earl. And we went around.
Clever.
We went around the state to 4 different media markets and got a lot of attention. Now, neither one of us ended up winning the primary, but we had fun. And it was, we were able to talk issues and give people a legitimate choice. And so I think DeSantis is being smart here. 2 months ago, this would have been considered high risk. Can't do it. But he can't break through with Trump dominating all of the news cycles, sucking all the oxygen out. This is on Sean Hannity, who's a very close friend of Donald Trump. So I'm sure Trump has let him know his feelings on all this. But I think it's smart for him. And for Newsom, it might be the long game. It might be the short game. I still don't believe Joe Biden's going to be the Democratic nominee.
Why do you feel that? Why so strongly?
I think it'll either be these scandals that are brewing in D.C. and or his health. I think he's too old. I don't think he can do a second term. I think his health has proven to be weak at best. And so I think before next spring, he will find a way to get out.
Pretty good on that bicycle whizzing by reporters this week on his vacation in Delaware.
Oh, that wasn't
you look as good as he does with your shirt off and all those
after
cameras.
A long morning nap, a few pills to get him wired up, and take that 2-block ride.
Is it the long play? Is it? I mean, that seems what it would be for Gavin Newsom.
I think I was joking off camera or off mic that I think this is the first debate of the 2028 presidential election.
Maybe.
And I think there's some truth to that. Gavin Newsom went on Hannity pretty recently.
He did.
For an extended interview. And I think Hannity came away pretty impressed.
He did.
Like, this he knows his stuff. He was loaded for bear. I didn't watch it because I'm not turning Fox on in my house.
Oh,
but I heard he did great. I don't. If you're a candidate for president, you're supposed to punch up or across. And I'm not sure DeSantis sharing time with somebody who's not a candidate for president is a move that is anything other than reeking of desperation, but maybe that's where DeSantis is now.
For GOP primary voters, the best move for DeSantis would be to sit down with Tucker Carlson on his podcast. That's all conservative listeners, right? But this one, I think, is a close second. I think it's unique. I think it will draw attention. It will dominate at least a news cycle. I don't know if it'll be more than that because you never know what will happen with Trump. But DeSantis has to take some chances. The reality is his numbers have declined from the mid-30s to, the low 20s. And I don't know that that's recoverable, unless he takes some chances.
In a 1 hour debate with Newsom, how many times do you think we should expect DeSantis will say the word woke? Like if we were going to establish a betting line, like 1 per minute?
So I just got done reading DeSantis' book. I'm telling you, if the guy who wrote that book was the candidate, he'd be close
who wrote it
in this race. I mean, I don't understand the presidential campaign he's run. It's not who he is. It's not what his history is. It's not how he got involved in politics. It's not what he believes in. I think all that woke stuff that's a side issue. It's not the bread and butter issue. At the end of the day, the economy is going to be the big deal, and he finally came up with an economic development plan. So I want the Ron DeSantis who wrote the book about, America to be the candidate, not the guy who's running right now.
What do you make, and I got to ask you about this, he made a comment about slitting throats day one. Is that something a candidate for President of the United States should ever say?
Well, Trump got away with it in 2016.
Well,
he got away with
a lot of things.
Yeah.
But,
doesn't make it right.
It doesn't. I don't think that's the right language. I think, listen, politics fundamentally is about addition, not subtraction. You have to add voters every day. You can't subtract voters. This is about building coalitions to get 50 plus 1.
He is Bill McCoshen. Joe Zepecki, your questions welcome on the Old National Bank talk and text line, 855-616-1620. We'll continue the conversation. Some questions about this came up. Sandy and I were chatting about this offline, about the legality or the questions of having Trump and Pence on the same debate stage, given some of the instructions related to the indictments. We'll dig into that one a little bit. Your questions welcome, as I said. Join us at the fair if you're out and about and you're listening. Come on and say hi. More after this.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature brought to you by the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Heart failure or congestive heart failure develops when the heart is not pumping as well as it should and can no longer meet the body's need. It is a serious condition. However, treatment options are available. Here to tell us more is Dr. Nunzio Gaianello, an advanced heart failure and transplant cardiologist with the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Doctor, first of all, thanks for being with us. What are the types of heart failure?
Well, thanks, Jeff. The types of heart failure in layman's terms are systolic heart failure and diastolic heart failure, to simplify it as much as we possibly can. Systolic heart failure essentially means your heart function is weak and you can't pump enough blood forward. Diastolic heart failure is a filling problem of the heart, and the heart can't essentially fill appropriately, and the pressures are high, and when you try to ambulate or move around, you get short of breath because of that.
Doctor, is heart failure a life-threatening condition?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we don't talk about it as frequently as we should. It's a very common condition that has a high mortality. There are medications that can make people feel better and live longer with the disease process, but it's definitely a life-threatening condition.
Doctor, why should somebody consider the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network for heart failure treatment?
I think we have a fantastic team. Some of our providers have more than 20 years of experience. We also have clinical trials available to patients, and we essentially can treat the entire continuum of heart failure, from the medical therapy component to the remote monitoring aspects of things. Heart failure comes in different flavors, and our goal is to keep people away from the surgical aspects of things, get them on the appropriate medications, and really try to make people feel better, live longer, and catch them earlier in their disease process, and so that we can continue making people feel well.
Doctor, thanks so much for being with us today. Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting Froedtert.com/heart.
For 60 years, RAID scientists have worked to protect people around the world, including the ones you love most. RAID, protection for all.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruberg Offices. One call, that's all.
Seth, the next ad should be about furnace beyondifications.
No, it's got to be same-day repair 7 days a week.
A beyondification extends the life of your furnace.
Yes, of course.
And increases efficiency.
Which saves you money on energy bills. I get it.
I don't think you do.
But same-day repair helps people now whose systems are breaking down.
Beyondification save people from having a breakdown in the first place. What are you going to tell me? Oh, sorry, Merle.
You're right.
We shouldn't be arguing. I was saying people should get a furnace beyondification. Right, saves you money.
I thought same-day repair 7 days a week was better. Saves you time and frustration.
You're exactly right, Merle. You're a genius.
You're a great squirrel.
Get same-day repair or a furnace beyondification today.
Save money.
Save time and frustration.
Online at callcapitalcares.com.
WTMJ Now.
We are live from the Wisconsin State Fair. Steve Scavini, Sandy Max, Bank 59 Studios, joining us in studio. I love this. They'll be here next Friday as well. Bill McCutcheon, Republican strategist. Joe Zepecki on the Democratic side. Football season started, Joe.
I may need to find a fill-in next week. We may have. I may have a
call in.
May have a conflict with our preseason scrimmage.
Yeah, training camps.
That's right.
Yeah.
August is the day, right?
August 1.
Yeah,
Is there a ESPN net breaking training on Whitnall High School?
I'd love to see a behind the scenes with Joe Zepecki.
I would.
I would watch that.
Yeah,
I'd
I would
actually
too.
tune that in. All right, some serious questions. This debate's happening on the 23rd in Milwaukee, first one, Republican side, and you had a great question, Sam.
Well, I was watching a lot of the coverage of the arraignment yesterday, and obviously the political ramifications, but the legal ramifications now. We've been all wondering, will he or won't he? Will Trump come and participate in the debates? There's now a very interesting legal angle of if Trump and Pence are on the stage, if this case comes up at all, there are restrictions on what Trump can interact with any potential witness.
Right.
And then obviously whatever Pence could say. So would someone have to leave the stage? It's just this really fascinating dynamic because the next hearing isn't until, August 29th, I think?
Yeah. Well,
so it's just a fascinating
I hadn't considered
conundrum.
this, but here's what I'm pretty confident in saying. One of those gentlemen can pull it off and act like a grown-up. And that person is Vice President Pence, right? So I could see in an interaction the Vice President Pence turning to former President Trump and saying, Mr. President, I was honored to serve in your administration. I worked with you for 4 years. I'm going to follow the law just as I always have and always did, and we're not going to talk about this case. I'm going to make my case to the American people, and that would make him look like the grown-up in the room because former President Trump wouldn't like that if he was on the stage.
Yeah, and then Trump says you were weak and didn't do the right thing, and the crowd goes wild, right? I mean, it's just...
And the circus continues.
The circus continues. It's a stunning situation we find ourselves in.
There was another aspect that I heard recently that I hadn't thought of, is you just mentioned that Tucker Carlson has a podcast, and that would Trump make a chess move and go, I'll be on your podcast the night of August 23rd.
Oh, he'll counter-program
and suck
somehow.
all of that out of the political process.
I don't know if he does it the night of, Sandy, but I could see him do it the night before. So he wants to drive that debate without being there. And frankly, he probably already has. Several of the questions will be about him, his legal status, about January 6th, about will they pardon him. I mean, you don't want to waste your time if you're trying to talk to a national audience for the first time, answering questions about a guy you're competing against. But that's the situation we're in right now.
That debate coming up August 23rd. A question. Somebody had mentioned scandals around Biden. Was that you?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, might have been.
So surprising that was McCutcheon. Weird.
A texter says that's all manufactured nonsense to date.
Oh, baloney.
Correct.
There's no evidence to date, much like the election fraud allegations. No evidence. I will say this. If there's something there, discover it and treat him the same way as anybody else.
There actually was news on this week that the House Oversight Committee released the transcript where someone who was in the room when Biden was on the phone with Hunter testified under oath before Congress. Hunter was just showing off that he could get his dad on the phone, and none of the conversations were about business. It was pleasantries, it was the weather, it was the geography, where are you? And it really undercuts the nonsense that Republicans have been doing in trying to connect the dots between Hunter's poor choices and his father.
For the texter who called in, look up Chapter 19.45 in the Wisconsin statutes. Under those statutes, you would see that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden would have violated the Wisconsin Ethics Code already.
Is it because of the access to that higher office?
Yeah, an elected official can't use his or her position to get financial gain for themselves or their family members. So the mere act of participating in business meetings for his son was to help his son's business. That would have been a violation of Wisconsin ethics law.
He didn't know where his kid was. When your kids call
ridiculous.
You and you can answer
That's
the phone,
ridiculous.
You do.
To believe Joe's theory, you have to believe that the Vice President of the United States wasn't briefed on who he was about to attend a meeting with. There's no chance
of who his son was going to a meeting with in the year after Bo. In the year after
would have been
Bo
on
died.
a line by line for his daily schedule where he was going to
I'm
be.
with Bill on this. They have a pretty detailed schedule. They know what they're going
100%.
to be doing almost minutes a minute in a day. Now, he may not know who the son is gathered around him.
And that's the point. In the year after Bo died, Hunter, who has had addiction troubles throughout his life, was in a very bad place. And we see over and over again instances where Joe Biden is trying to be a good father and help his son. And if he calls, he picks up the phone.
Help his son gain millions of dollars.
All right, we'll leave it at that for this topic. We're going to switch gears, grab bags, so you guys can surprise us with your State Fair memories or whatever. Maybe you had a great week. We'll hear what the guys have to say. Bill McCoshen, Joe Zapecki, Steve and Sandy, broadcasting live for the Wisconsin State Fair.
More of WTMJ now after this. Did you hear that? It can only mean one thing. The Wisconsin State Fair is back. As you're enjoying the fair, be sure to stop by the Bank 59 studio on the heart of the State Fairgrounds to see all of your favorite hosts broadcasting live. It's WTMJ Live at the Wisconsin State Fair. All fair long. See you there.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Selling a home is stressful, difficult, and costly. The repairs, the showings, the months it takes. But there's an easier way, and you have nothing to lose to try it out. Grandview Homes will buy your home today completely as is. Call or visit grandviewhomes.com.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or back? Well, don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people here in Milwaukee every day with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. And there's zero downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough, and patients here are getting real lasting relief and saying no to surgery and drugs. If you have pain due to injury or arthritis, this is a remarkable option that you need to check out, and the consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics now at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's WTMJ now.
Joining us live at the Wisconsin State Fair, Steve and Sandy, that is Bill McCoshen, Joe Zapecki, having fun on a Friday. I can't believe it's Friday already and the weekend awaits, but We got a full week of shows coming up next week, and I announced it earlier this morning. The governor of the state of Wisconsin will join us about 9:40 in this very studio, Bank 59 Studios at State Fair, 9:40 next Wednesday. So looking forward to that conversation. And as promised, grandson Max will ask a question of the governor. So
nice.
I'm curious what he's going to ask him.
Vetoes? Vetoes? Is he going to ask him about vetoes?
I don't think so.
He's going to ask him how many tax brackets there should be.
Yes. I'm not going to.
Is he going to ask why he didn't get a tax cut?
Yeah, I think he's going to ask why he's not here at the same time because he can't. Max is going to be fully enmeshed in some other activity. So that we tried to make it work so they're both in the same place at the same time.
He's a hard kid to book.
The kid is busier than me now. Superstar Max, young Max. All right, grab bag. We do it every Friday. Bill, you can start us off.
2. Shout out to Sherry Husa. She's a retiring president of Managed Health Services here in the state of Wisconsin. She had the position for 14 years, did a phenomenal job. I went to her retirement party at the Wisconsin Club last night. Great friend. She's got more chapters yet to write in her book, and congratulations to her. My State Fair story, 1994, I was managing Tommy Thompson's third re-election campaign. He was running to be the first ever, and still is, the only person elected to a third four-year term in the state of Wisconsin. We decided to film an ad at State Fair. And we did it right here on the main Midway. And I'm telling you, he was like walking the Midway with Elvis Presley. We couldn't make it 2 feet in any direction without him being swarmed. It was the most fun ad we had. It was the most memorable ad we had. It was obvious in August of that year we were going to win by a huge margin, and we did. We ended up winning with the second highest total in state history, 67%, but it all started right here at the State Fair.
I love that. And I always like to remind people, you were his chief of staff. You were the youngest ever in the United States, right?
Yeah, and youngest cabinet secretary in Wisconsin history.
Still.
Now look at me, the old gray-haired guy.
Hey, you're still looking good, though. I see all your workout videos that you put on social media. All right, Joe.
Good luck to the Shorewood Little League 12 and under All-Stars. They are the state of Wisconsin state champions. They won in thrilling fashion last week and are now representing Wisconsin in the Little League World Series.
Nice.
Their first game is today. We got a bunch of the neighbor kids on the team. Great group of kids, great group of coaches and families supporting them. If you're in Shorewood, I believe Three Lions Pub will be having a little watch party because they're on ESPN Plus later today. Check it out, and it's cool to see a little village like Shorewood representing the whole big old state.
We didn't mention it, but the Wisconsin Supreme Court has shifted as of Tuesday with Judge Janet Protasiewicz being sworn in, shifting the court from conservative sort of to liberal leaning. Quick thoughts on that.
Bumpy start, right? The whole story this week wasn't about the shift in the court. It was about them replacing the director of the state courts, Randy Koshnick, who was
he's done it for a while, right?
He's done it for 14 years. He was a judge for 18 years prior to that. I mean, it was highly partisan, and it stepped on their own story.
And we've already talked longer about it than 99.999% of Wisconsinites even thought about it, because there were some other big news this week that kind of drowned everything out.
But beyond that, I mean, I get it. Republicans are going to be angry about that because, this is a court that has leaned their way.
For 15 years.
In the significance of what voters, residents, all of us are going to experience in this new reality for the Wisconsin Supreme Court, what does this mean?
A new day has dawned. I mean, you can't deny that. I think cases that were not getting heard before may get heard now. You may see some cases interpreted differently under the law. We got to see. This is a long road. These are 10-year terms. It's a full 2 years. It's not until 2025 when there's another state Supreme Court race, which I'm actually a fan of. I said it during the race. I think we both did. Like, it's kind of nuts the way these state Supreme Court races have become so political and so partisan. Now they can get to work for 2 years, and we'll see what happens.
All right, last thoughts?
Buckle up, man. If week one is any indication, it's going to be a highly partisan court, and, elections have consequences. Don't ever forget that.
Gentlemen, I always say this is my favorite hour of the week, and that continues today. Great stuff, as always. Wisdom shared from both sides of the political aisle. Joe Zepecki, Democratic side. Bill McCoshen, Republican side.
Let's eat.
Let's eat. Go to town. I got 2 more hours of show to go. We're just getting started on this Friday edition from the Wisconsin State Fair. Join us after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickert. A lot of home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting their pre-approval and financing their new home. That's exactly what Jordan and Michelle did, and it wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Acunet for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. Every time you write an offer and lose, it's an emotional punch to the gut because you've already imagined having Thanksgiving dinner at that house. We're helping home shoppers and their agents write stronger, more convincing offers every day with powerful tools and strategies that really work. If you don't mind writing 5 losing offers, go ahead and get a flimsy generic pre-approval from your bank or credit union. But if you want the best shot at writing an offer that gets accepted, get a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Acunet, and I'll personally join in on your offer strategy consultation like I did for Jordan and Michelle, whose very next offer was a winner. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The Wisconsin State Fair is here. Whether you're there for the pig races, giant slide, or food on a stick, stop by the Bank 5-9 studios on the grounds of the State Fair as we broadcast live. This is your Wisconsin State Fair headquarters. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it is 78 degrees, sunny and beautiful today, a high of 79. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. When can Travis King come home? Where is he right now in Pyongyang? King, a U.S. soldier with ties to Racine, currently being held in North Korea after he ran across the border at the DMZ last month. Vice President Kamala Harris weighing in on the matter while she visited Southeast Wisconsin on Thursday. She was asked about King and whether or not she's been working with the King family in Racine when she was in with TMJ4's Charles Benson yesterday for a conversation.
The Department of Defense is working actively on this. Through our State Department, there's a lot of activity on this, and we're going to do everything we can to bring him home.
King's been in custody since running over the border from South Korea last month in the DMZ. He had been punished overseas for some assault that he was accused of, also expected to be punished when they were sending him home back to the States. An update to a missing child story that we've been following for the last couple of months. James Yablonsky, 13 years old, from Baraboo. Investigators believe, ran away in order to live off the grid as a survivalist. They believe they've found campsites of his in Devils Lake State Park. But now they're indicating Yablonsky may be out of the state of Wisconsin. A search of electronic devices that he used before he disappeared revealed that there were internet searches on those devices about traveling out of Wisconsin. Agriculture presentations underway at the Wisconsin State Fair.
Ainsley Noble is here showing her dairy cattle. She tells WTMJ about the process to get ready for the fair.
You're working all day, every day, working with your animals, rinsing them, feeding them, exercising them to the best of their ability and the best of your ability. It's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding when you get here.
And Ainsley is looking forward to seeing some human companions at the fair as well.
Just seeing all my friends that I only get to see, especially during this week and throughout the summer.
At the Wisconsin State Fair, Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Not as hot today at the fair. Again, the high today, 79 and comfortable. Now, from the Gulf Coast to the Southwest, new round of record heat expected through the weekend. ABC's Maria Villarreal.
The heat wave not only returning to Texas, it's expanding from coast to coast. 65 million Americans currently under heat alerts from Florida to California, moving west with excessive heat watches and warnings blanketing the Southwest. In July, Phoenix observing the hottest month on record for U.S. city.
News about your money. New jobs report coming out this morning. U.S. employers added fewer jobs than expected during the month of July, but still, that jobs report shows a strong economy, says ABC's Elizabeth Scholze.
187,000 jobs were added to the workforce in July, confirming that job growth has been cooling in recent months. But the labor market is still remarkably strong. And for now, strength in the economy, including the jobs market, is offsetting long-term concerns about the finances of the federal government after ratings agency Fitch downgraded the nation's credit rating this week.
So how is Wall Street responding this morning? Let's check the numbers in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Right now, the Dow is up 181 to 35,396. The Nasdaq is up 100 to 14,060, and the S&P is up 23 to 4524. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time, 10:03.
It's a city from a fairy tale on the Mediterranean Sea.
Netanya, the city of diamonds. And in this city of diamonds lived a crazy genius named Moses Hadara.
Moses was a mathematician,
a diamond cutter, and a bit of a theoretical physicist.
Albert Einstein devised a formula, E equals mc squared.
Albert's formula unleashed the power locked inside an atom. Moses' formula unleashed the power locked inside a diamond.
Moses began with star facets,
kite facets, upper girdle facets,
lower girdle facets,
and pavilion facets. But then a voice told him to add 24 new facets, the Moses facets.
When he cut the final one,
Shazam! Moses unleashed an explosion of light.
That dazzling diamond is known today as the Kessler 81.
See it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
See it for yourself. At Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hello, home shoppers. I'm Tom Hignite, known for building very creative, very high-quality homes. The median price to build a new home in Wisconsin today has ballooned to $455,000, with most new homes in southeast Wisconsin in the $500,000+ area. The market is crying out. It's begging for lower, sane-priced new homes. So, 9 months ago, I set out on my own personal crusade to deliver just that. Imagine this, slightly over, or get this, under $300,000 all in, including the grass. That's right, this weekend you can't see these two new market-shattering homes. You can't even get the floor plan sent to you out of protective caution that these extraordinary homes might be lifted by others. You can, however, see the designs, see the lots we will be building these on this weekend, 1 to 4 at my Tomorrow Ranch model home. Now write this down, 830 Sky Park Drive in Hartford. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath homes, $300,000. Call my wife Jackie now, 262-628-9091. We're Miracle, a Christian-based company.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Milwaukee Brewers bounced back in a big way on Thursday night following their rough road trip, defeating the Pittsburgh Pirates at American Family Field by a final score of 14-1. With the victory and another Cincinnati loss, the Brewers now leaders in the NL Central Division by just a half game. Game 2 of the 4-game set between the Brewers and Pirates will get underway tonight, with coverage beginning right here on WTMJ at 6:35. Big changes coming to Madison this season, as Wisconsin will now offer beer, wine, and prepackaged alcoholic beverages for Badger basketball and hockey games at the Kohl Center and LeBon Arena. And lastly, to the NFL, where training camp rolled on in Green Bay Thursday with another full padded practice for the Packers. Next up for the team is Family Night, which will get underway inside Lambeau Field beginning at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving time saver traffic. 43 southbound right now is the trouble spot. Brown Deer Road into downtown. You're going to see some delays through the road work there. It gets a little tight right around Capitol Drive in that stretch there. So be prepared for some brake lights, but otherwise you should be okay. Also, reminder, we have the triathlon events taking place in downtown Milwaukee through the weekend starting today. So Lincoln Memorial Drive is already shut down today and will remain shut down until tonight. It's going to be closed through the weekend as well at various times. Also, the Hone Bridge open now today, but it will have periods of closures tomorrow and on Sunday. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny today, a high of 79 degrees. Should be a nice day today. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 67. For your Saturday, more clouds tomorrow, high of 80. There is a chance for a storm late on Saturday. For Sunday, showers and storms are likely on Sunday. Some of them could be strong. Pay attention to the forecast for Sunday, high of 80. Monday, a chance for rain in the morning, otherwise partly cloudy, a high of 80. Tuesday, sunny and a high of 82 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 78. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:07.
Grab some cheese curds and cream puffs. It's time for WTMJ Now. Broadcasting live from the Bank 5-9 studio at the Wisconsin State Fair. Here's Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wisconsin State Fair. Lots of folks outside saying hi, looking lovely today with your beautiful glasses on. It's sunny out today. It's not as hot as yesterday, which is a good thing. That is a good thing. I was out at the fairgrounds after the show yesterday, Sandy.
Yeah.
That's about as hot as it gets. I was overheated at some point after a couple hours of touring the grounds. My wife Kathy and I went home. to cool off.
You could always tuck into the expo center.
Yes, which I hate.
Lots
I
of
hate
air
the
conditioning
expo center.
there.
You know this. I don't want to go in there because I don't want to buy any more chamois or mops or dicers.
You could also tuck into the Wisconsin Products Pavilion.
I did that, and I had a ribeye sandwich. It was fantastic.
And there's also the Grand Champion Hall stage, just the Grand Champion Hall, where you can see everybody, all their potato salad that they've submitted, the Spud-tastic category
I love
amuses
that
me,
stuff.
and all the arts and crafts that have been submitted for judging. Who's going to get the blue ribbon? And it's fun to browse through all that, and the floral arrangements.
So
there are a lot of places to get into air
my
conditioning,
goodness. Oh,
and
yeah.
the Cream Puff Pavilion itself.
Right across the thing here. So
it's a great place to hang out.
I had tasked myself a couple of years ago with actually entering one of the competitions. I still want to do that.
You want to grow tomatoes, don't you?
Well, that's the easy one for me because I have a massive garden with, like, this year 130 tomato plants. So I could do that, but I also grow flowers and stuff like that. So I might, at some point.
I think you should.
Because I walk in there and I go, my Victoria Blue Lake salvia looks better than that
I'm
one.
interested to know that process. I walked in this morning with a nice lady. I think her last name is Beeson, so I'm going to look for her. She had made potato salad as part of the Spud-tastic category. So I'm going to look forward to seeing if I recognize her name, if she's got a blue ribbon next to her potato salad.
Bring some of that potato salad in.
And I know, that'd be fun. So it'd be interesting to know more about that whole process because it's a great pride point.
So I had a long day yesterday. So we broadcast live opening day of the State Fair. Then my wife and I walked around. We took a couple hours just to decompress and cool off.
You and Kathy could have gone down the giant slide to catch a breeze.
She's not a slide fan. You and I are going to go down the slide later today.
We'll catch a breeze.
Yeah. So I went to a great event last night. It was put on by the Mount Vernon Ladies Association. So somebody might ask, who are they? They saved Mount Vernon 100-plus years ago.
George Washington's home.
His estate. And I'm a huge fan. I've talked about it before. I went out there in May and had a great behind-the-scenes tour. So last night they had an event in Milwaukee at the Women's Club of Wisconsin, which I had never been to. Another historic building built in the 1800s. And the speaker was the executive director of the Presidential Library at Mount Vernon. His name is Patrick Sparrow. Fascinating stuff. Learning about the presidents. There was a Q&A, which I asked questions about. And this is the question I asked.
Okay. I would say that's full of knowledge if he's at the library.
Oh, my
okay.
God. This is the guy.
Yeah.
Who's today's George Washington? And I think they were right. There really isn't one because that's a unique individual who did so much. And I'm okay with that. But the question stands, who is that person that's going to be inspirational? Somebody that united people versus divide.
And truly had the country and the development of the country in mind.
So one of the things they were handing out at the event was George Washington's Rules of Civility. A little book.
Oh, my. So you have a pamphlet now that we can refer to. I find you overall quite civil. You can be a little gruff sometimes, especially early in the morning when we're pre-coffee, but I'd call you civil. Have you learned anything in this? This is adorable. Hold it up for the camera for our WTMJ.com for our live stream.
Little book. It's a little handbook. Now
it's got a cameo of him on the front as well.
Yes, it's written in the language of the 1700s. So I'll read a short one because some of these things it's almost impossible to understand what he's talking about.
We're not quite Shakespearean, not these and thous.
But here's one, the 24th one.
Okay.
Do not laugh too loud or too much at any public spectacle. So don't be over enthusiastic, I think is the civility words there.
Well, I'm busted. I laugh loudly.
How about this one, the 20th one? The gestures of the body must be suited to the discourse you are upon. So your gestures should match the intensity and the messaging of the words you say. Paraphrasing. Look at me paraphrasing George Washington. Is that even appropriate, our first president? Here's one. Number 6, sleep not when others speak, sit not when others stand, speak not when you should hold your peace, walk not when others stop.
I think you should get one of those for Vince Vitrano because, bless his heart, I think he dozed off during a meeting last week. Well, they're up early. He and Eric Bilstad are up early, and it was a noon, all-staff meeting, and I believe that Vince's lids may have drooped or there might have been some gentle snoring involved.
He gets up pretty early in the morning.
He does. So I give him a pass, but George Washington would frown upon Vince in that situation.
A couple easy ones. Number 3, show nothing to your friend that may affright him. You don't want to scare your friend.
Boo.
Nobody wants to do that.
So you don't take your friend to go get one of these bug brownies over here at the jerky booth?
I wouldn't eat it, and I wouldn't take anyone over there either. Are you going to have one of those?
That is not tops on my list. The Brad and Harry's cheese curds are a must-do.
Maybe
this
after the show,
afternoon.
when we're doing
Yes.
some stuff for next week, we'll have to find those.
Yum.
And the last one, when in company. This is perfect for the Me Too generation as well. And he wrote it hundreds of years ago, 240 years ago. When in company, put not your hands to any part of the body not usually discovered. Let's keep your hands to yourself, which is always good.
How
good
many
advice.
total rules did George come up with?
He's got
rules for civility.
110. I'm fascinated by these things. It's for eating. Take no salt or cut bread with your knife greasy. So that's basically
That's
saying
2 a week. That's
like a double
implement.
dip thing.
Yeah.
Don't be putting stuff on your thing and sticking it back in the bread. That makes no sense. He was a man ahead of his time. Thank goodness.
Who
for
wanted
George
to bring out the best in others, it would seem.
And I got to say, it was an amazing night. We had a great dinner with a lot of assembled fans of Mount Vernon. If you've never been, I told him I was going to say this. If you've never been to George Washington's Mount Vernon, it is at least a top 10 place to visit the United States. You can spend an entire day there. They have a great museum now. The library's now there. They have the grist mill, which is kind of a newer addition where they make whiskey and brandy, and I sampled some of that when we were out there. But it is a place where you can see in real life, real time, what the context of his life looked like. The home that he built looks exactly the same. And they're restoring some of the original wallpaper that has long since faded. That's being restored.
Wow.
The grounds are amazing. There's an active garden and all that. They're still doing active searches, archaeological searches on some of the garden areas around the estate. It is an amazing place. I think the number is 1 million. I could be slightly off. School children go there every year. But you don't have to be a kid to go there.
Preserving that history is important, and it's interesting that the cast of Hamilton even spent time there as they were researching and getting into the characters of their roles so they would have a deeper understanding of all of those characters that are portrayed in the musical Hamilton.
And the side benefit of going last night, I met a professor from Marquette University, Patrick Collins, who's sort of a George Washington history expert. He's going to join me and President Mike Lovell at a future conversation on our show.
Excellent.
He is really smart. And I got a lot just talking to him away from his official presentation. So that was my night last night. Loved everything about it. Thanks to the ladies who put that on. Beautiful venue on Kilbourne Avenue. I think it's the 800 block Kilbourne Avenue, which I never knew even existed. It's close to where they do the Bastille Days. What's the park there?
Cathedral Square Park?
Yeah, yes. A couple blocks away. Totally oblivious to that this other building was there, historical building in Milwaukee. So I learned something last
Sounds like
night.
an excellent date night for you and Kathy.
It was fun. And Kathy said to me, thanks for expanding my horizons. Because we kind of get in our little boxes, right?
Sure.
And whenever you're, let's
Get
put it
into
this
a
way.
rhythm of comfort, yeah.
Yes. And whenever you've been together for a long time with anybody, whoever your partner is, you kind of fall into those patterns. This was something completely different, which is why I liked it.
And I bet you both looked sharp.
We looked fantastic. We were very well dressed. Everybody was well dressed.
From the Old National Bank talking text line, 855-616-1620 from 414, I have an American flag that flew over Mount Vernon on July 4th from a visit there.
I love that. I tell people you must go see it. So if you go to Washington, D.C., make sure you schedule a day for Mount Vernon. It's not that far away. It's a 30-minute ride or 20-minute ride. Gorgeous. It'll blow you away. You will not believe what you're seeing, what you're walking through. And the cool thing, I had a private tour. I got to see the basement. I got to climb up into the very top recesses of his estate, which no one ever gets to go to. I took pictures up there. There's actual old ancient graffiti written by a worker in the joists or the woodwork of this little cap on the building. It was amazing. I'll never forget it. That was my experience in May, and last night it was great to get together with a group of people who also share that same love of Mount Vernon. All right, we're just getting warmed up on this State Fair edition, day 2. Sandy Mack, Steve Scafidi, live from the Bank 59 studios. We'll take a short break. Back after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this. The Brewers Radio Network's Lane Grindle sees it all from the broadcast booth.
Down the right field line, this is up and it is going to fly out of here.
But what's he like off the air?
It's 2023. It's the year of the cheesehead.
Lane Grindle joins Wisconsin's afternoon news every Monday during the Brewers' 2023 campaign.
There'd be nothing better in my life than to be the brother of Lane Grindle.
I did not have a brother, so, John, we can make honorary brothers.
Brought to you by Crest Cadillac of Brookfield. Discover them at CadillacWisconsin.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve's Committee for Educators Credit Union. When you open an Educators Credit Union checking account, you can say goodbye to surprise fees and hello to a whole lot of perks. I'm a member. Joined last year. Absolutely love working with educators. You can get their rewards, cash back, discounts, even card customization. I have a really cool Oak Creek card. Everyone asks me about it. You can customize your own debit card with their convenient digital services and nationwide network of over 60,000, yes, 60,000 fee-free ATMs. You can also access your account anytime, anywhere. Join Educators Credit Union today and take advantage of all the benefits that come with a checking account. Get started like I did at ECU.com. You will love it. That's the experience I had. I want to share it with you. Federally insured, of course, by NCUA.
Hi, I'm Father Tim Kitsky from the Archdiocese of Milwaukee, inviting all of you on behalf of the Milwaukee Catholic Home to the Heart and Soul of Ireland pilgrimage. I'm excited to be the leader of this amazing spiritual trip. It's taking place June 2nd to the 11th, 2024. On this pilgrimage, we'll explore many breathtaking sights, charming Irish cities, all the while growing in our faith and creating friendships and memories that will last a lifetime. Please join us. Check out the details on alifeengaged.org or by calling 414-220-3216. Thanks.
Seth, the next ad should be about furnace beyondifications.
No, it's got to be same-day repairs 7 days a week.
A beyondification extends the life of your furnace.
Yes, of course.
And increases efficiency.
Which saves you money on energy bills. I get it.
I don't think you do.
But same-day repair helps people now whose systems are breaking down.
Beyondification save people from having a breakdown in the first place. What are you gonna tell me? Oh, sorry, Merle.
You're right.
We shouldn't be arguing. I was saying people should get a furnace beyondification. Right, saves you money.
I thought same-day repair 7 days a week was better. Saves you time and frustration.
You're exactly right, Merle. You're a genius.
You're a great squirrel.
Get same-day repair or a furnace beyondification today.
Save money.
Save time and frustration.
Online at callcapitalcares.com.
WTMJ Now.
We are broadcasting live from the Wisconsin State Fair, the Bank 5-9 studio. Steve's 50. Sandy Max, gorgeous State Fair day. What did you do yesterday while I was doing all that stuff? Sandy Max?
I had fun. I roamed around. I'm a big fan of the big horses, the Percherons, the Clydesdales, and I noticed on the big travel guide, the daily schedule that you get in the information booths, that at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock yesterday, we're going to be the Clydesdale Draft Horse show. So I thought I can see some of the Whiskey Bells at Saz's and then go see the Clydesdales. I'll be a very happy gal. And I did. And it was lovely.
Of course, the Whiskey Bells were on our program yesterday.
Yes, and they sang in fine form. Their harmonies were wonderful at Saz's. And you know how it is at the Wisconsin State Fair. I wound up bumping into people that I knew, so it was nice to visit with some friends. And what I also noticed is where Saz's is, across from Saz's is where the New Berlin Lions corn is. Yep. You've got Wurst Bar, which I'll tell you about Wurst Bar in a minute. And then on that other corner is a brand new restroom facility, which doesn't sound like much, but it'll catch your eye.
It's state of the art.
Yeah.
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, what used to be here?
It wasn't that. I think it was in a restaurant building that looked older, I think.
But whatever it is now, though, I mean, it's glossy. It looks like the restrooms are inside and then the hand washing, the sinks are outside.
Yeah, these like kind of futuristic doors that go up and down.
Like this glass awnings. So that's for your convenience. There are brand new sparkling restrooms at that intersection there, across from Saz's and the Roasted Corn and Wurst Bar.
And I've been accused of being a shameless promoter of the State Fair, but I love the State Fair. They have done so much to enhance this central area. It is absolutely gorgeous. They've eliminated some of the curbing that used to have people tripped over. That's kind of been smoothed out for the most part. There's newly paved areas with some great shade spots now. They've added a lot of picnic tables.
Yeah, because on this Central Avenue, which is where we are, man, there used to be no shade.
Yeah.
No shade and no place to kind of sit and meet friends. And it's nice to have more meeting spots where you can say, hey, meet me by, there's a brand new fountain that you'll see when you walk in. I think it's called the Stone and Steel Fountain. I'll find out for sure.
Absolutely gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah, and it's that's a great meeting spot right there. So is the WTMJ booth.
Yes, and we are right across the Cream Puff Pavilion, which I stare at constantly. You don't see it like I do. I see it constantly during the show. Now, I avoided having a cream puff yesterday, so
Today's your day.
I will have one. Maybe you can.
You and I can have one together afterwards.
We
can toast cream puffs.
Yeah, and I have a very unique way of eating them, which I've talked about before. I unscrew the top. I don't eat it like a hamburger.
And then you put one on top of your head?
No. But I will mash one in your face if compensated accordingly.
We were talking about Worst Bar, and we are live here at the Wisconsin State Fair. And as we sit here and work, thankfully, we are being treated right by our partners at the Worst Bar. They are the owners of the 2023 Sporky winner, the Beer Cheese Wisconsin Lava Cake.
I saw one of those yesterday.
It got rave reviews.
I heard
from our
that.
WTMJ teammates.
It looks like too much for me.
So when you're at the fair, then you can share it. Stop by the Worst Bar. It's right next to the big slide and by Saz's, where all that area we were just talking about. And they've got specialty brats, loaded fries, cheese curds, and more available at the Worst Bar. Thanks again for hooking us up here at the Wisconsin State Fair.
Yeah, so we have a food source, which, I mean, you could go crazy here. I saw some of the food that was being delivered yesterday. It all looked amazing.
I do feel like I should say Worst Bar. For all of our German-speaking friends, It is spelled W-U-R-S-T, because I think some people are like, well, if it's the Worst Bar, why is the food so good?
No, I was talking before the break about Mount Vernon, so I got this text from Diane. Steve, you talk about Mount Vernon so much as life-changing. It did change my life because I love it so much. Do you think visiting Mount Vernon would help my young voting adults, I'm assuming that those are your kids, understand how important democracy and the foundation of our government is and make it better? Yeah, I do. You learn a lot when you're there. They have so many opportunities. The other great thing that I didn't mention yesterday, I don't think, is they actually do outreach to all 50 states, 50 states, where a teacher can get materials. Sometimes they come out from Mount Vernon to our states all across the country and speak to groups where teachers can actually educate their kids with the people who are actually doing some of that great work. It is a fantastic resource. And keep in mind, this was only saved because of the work of the Mount Vernon Ladies Association. They saw the state of this building, which 50 years later, after his death, was falling down. There was a ship's mast holding up the front porch ceiling. It was looking horrible. And now this incredibly historic and significant building looks amazing. And the grounds... Just Google Mount Vernon and look at the pictures. Stunning. On the Potomac, it is a masterpiece of design and history in our beautiful country.
When you could walk into living history like that, we have some examples like Old World Wisconsin and other historic venues. It really does make a difference to experience history as it was and around people who are passionate and enthusiastic about really preserving that time, because, look, we're over 100 years later, and we walk around with these tiny computers in our pockets, and it helps you give some perspective to, oh, boy, life could be a lot tougher, or here's how people adapted and did the same things. They just communicated in a different way, but the communication still happened. And I would also point out that experiencing agriculture here at the Wisconsin State Fair is also, you say life-changing, but it certainly is enriching and enlightening of where your food comes from and who works on farms, and just what a large role agriculture and even technology plays in our lives that we never see.
So many people's only connection to the ag industry and the dairy industry in Wisconsin is the cheese or milk they buy at the store. Well, here is the animals producing that, and you get up close and personal as you want to. I do remind people that don't touch the animals unless the trainer, the owner, the kid who's out there gives you permission, because that's their livelihood and their life, because they are in many ways entering those animals into competition. So be respectful of that. But if you want to see what that looks like, feel what it feels like to be a Wisconsin farmer or somebody who works in the dairy industry, you can experience that here. And that is, for me, one of the linchpins of this state fair. And it's something that not everybody goes and does. And I think that's an important one. Now, there's also the humorous part of the Mount Vernon thing. I got this from Rob.
Yeah.
Was Pee-wee's bike in the basement.
Oh, because you got to go into the basement on the special tour?
I did. He's kind of joking about the Alamo. And,
yes.
and if you didn't see it, Pee-wee Herman, Paul Rubens died this week. Right?
Last week.
Last week. And the Alamo did a fun tweet saying that one of the number one questions they always get is, where's the basement? Because that was in one of his movies. I think it was, what was the big movie he did?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes. And he joked about that. But But yes, there's no bike in the basement. But I did get to go tour the basement of the Mount Vernon estate, and it was everything you'd imagine because it was featured in National Treasure.
If only you'd found a bottle of wine.
Yes, and now it's closed. You can't go there. So.
Special guy. All Access Steve.
Yes. Where was my All Access pass? Well, it was hanging on my chest that day. All right, we'll take another break. Virtual baseball is coming up in a little bit. We'll have fun with that.
And I've got some musical suggestions if you're looking for even more entertainment, not just the livestock at the State Fair.
Come out and say hi if you're in and around the Central Mall area here. We're right across from the Cream Puff Pavilion, just north of the Expo Center, which I never go into because I don't need any more ShamWows or mops or...
Kathy bought nothing yesterday?
She did buy things.
Oh, I'll find out next.
Yes, after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this. This week on WTMJ.
Jason Wilde. I really think they're going to try and get as much work for Love as possible in those 3 practices and try to limit his exposure in preseason.
The big names.
President of the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, Rick Essenberg.
The difficulty with this indictment is that what he essentially is accused of doing is trying to persuade people to do things.
The stories you're talking about.
Being more Republicans, but man, this is just crazy.
News Radio WTMJ.
Hey, it's Friday. Get out of your kitchen for a great fish fry at the amazing Mine Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mine Chef fish fry. The cod is all you can eat. It's just $9.99. Don't spend $16 to $20 on a fish fry. At $9.99, the Mine Chef is the best fish fry value in the state. All desserts are buy one, get one free, and the kids' menu starts at $3.99. Your kids can safely play in the world-class game room while you finish up that fish fry. Saturday, the prime rib dinner is under $25, and the Sunday brunch is all you can eat and just $14.99, the best brunch value anywhere. Kids and grandkids under 3, they always eat for free. The super affordable Mine Chef restaurant on Main Street in beautiful downtown Hartford and right off the interstate in Oshkosh. It's easy access, plenty of free parking. Reserve your table for that $9.99 all-you-can-eat codfish fry today and the fabulous Sunday brunch. It's MineChefRestaurant.com. MineChefRestaurant.com. It is the amazing Mine Chef.
When you're at State Fair this year, be sure to check out the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater, State Fair's largest free entertainment venue. Featuring acts like Kids from Wisconsin, Here Come the Mummies, and Pat McCurdy, Bank 5-9 is a proud sponsor of the fair and a proud supporter of the local Wisconsin communities they have served since 1859. So grab your bucket of lemonade or beer, something on a stick, and join Bank 5-9 between August 3rd and the 13th. Member FDIC.
You can rely on Blaine's Farm and Fleet for the best prices on products that deliver, like in-stock Balin 16-gauge 6-rail heavy-duty gates, now 10% off. Get your animals ready for the fair with Sunglow Show lamb, goat, and pig feed, now $2 off. Keep your equipment looking like new with Krylon Rust Tough Paint, now 10% off. And introducing Blaine's Animal RX. Get prescriptions from your vet, add meds to your cart, and let Blaine's Animal RX take care of the rest. It's that easy. Go to farmandfleet.com for all the details.
It's WTMJ Now.
Steve and Sandy live from the Wisconsin State Fair Bank 5-9 studios. Lots of people come out and saying hi and giving us very enthusiastic thumbs ups and waves. I appreciate all of that. It's a gorgeous day at the fair. Now,
we're going to let our freak flag fly tonight at the fair.
Lots of music options. As I was walking around getting food yesterday, there's all these little side stages tucked in, and I probably, between here and the Wisconsin building, conservatively, 8 or 10 different stages.
I wasn't kidding yesterday that you could see a dozen bands in 2 hours easily. I mean, and actually enjoy a song or two from them. That song you just heard is Freak Flag from Here Come the Mummies, and they are an entertainment spectacle. If you've never seen them, they are an annual tradition for me at the Wisconsin State Fair. They usually play back-to-back nights, and they are again this year tonight and tomorrow night, 8:30 on the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater. These musicians are incredible. There are maybe even 12 of them on stage at one time. Horn section, guitarists. They are so fun, and they are dressed as ragged mummies. Think of an old, 1950s B movie. They are dressed entirely as mummies. They have very clever and suggestive lyrics. If you can take a joke, they have some very clever, entertaining adult lyrics. Freak Flag isn't so much, but yeah, there's some really fun music.
Do you know where the mummy thing came from? Or what was the origin of that story?
Here's what I'm going to tell you. The lore that I heard was that they were all session musicians, which meant that contractually they weren't really supposed to be performing live. But if you can't see their face and you don't really know that this was a way to get around that in the contract.
Gaming the system,
Now, I don't know that that's true, but I love a good story, and that sounds feasible. But they're, as much as they have this entertaining visual shtick, they're excellent musicians, and they all get the chance to solo, and they just look like they're having so much fun on stage.
I love it. And you talk about music opportunities. You know, we always love Summerfest and all their stages. There's even more. It seems like there's more stages here than Summerfest, if that's possible. And I was blown away by the different kinds of music. Every 100 feet or so, a different genre of music is playing from some little tiny stage.
And one of my favorites is the polka band Storm and Norman at the Cracovia polka restaurant.
It never gets old, polka. We are in love with that kind of music in this state.
Not to me, it doesn't.
Hey, real quick from the Old National Bank talking.
They're still Stormin', not Storm and Norman. Sorry.
Yeah. 414, Steve, I sell bottles to the Mount Vernon Ladies Association for their bourbon Class X. Yeah, they are Class X. How about that? Because their grist mill and distillery is amazing.
Yeah.
Bourbon, brandy, which I haven't tried yet, which I will try. They gave us a nice thing of chocolates yesterday, which I can't wait to dip into. Is it just about with food and drink with me? I think it is.
I think this whole week, this next 10 days, we're already checked one off, but all 11 days of the Wisconsin State Fair are about food and drink and enjoying the treats of fried foods. Because you're teasing me that you're looking at the Cream Puff Pavilion
yes.
while we're broadcasting in this Bank 59 studio. I'm looking at the elephant ears and funnel cakes booth.
Which are delicious.
And Big Lemonade, yeah.
Yeah.
So everything's a good taste temptation. You were talking about walking by and hearing all the different live music. You could walk by and get a whiff of like, oh, there's the corn, and then it shifts again. I'm like, I think I smell barbecue, and then it shifts again, and you smell strudel. It's like, oh, this is a joy for the senses.
So get out there and enjoy it. If you're out and about on the grounds, come out and say hi. We love all you guys, and thanks for all the nice words. And most days, I or Sandy or any of our great talent team here at WTMJ will be out in the common area just to my radio left, and come out and say hi. I took a lot of pictures yesterday.
Spin the prize wheel.
Spin the prize wheel. You can win sunglasses.
Brewers tickets.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Brewers tickets. There was fans, which were really important
helpful yesterday, yeah.
And there's sunscreen. Yeah, which is
also helpful.
Yes.
We're here to help.
Shining. All right. We need callers for a little something we call virtual baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited. So here's what we're going to do. 855-616-1620. We're going to queue up some callers. And you have a chance to win not only a WTMJ prize package, but a chance to win a $500 gift card from Siding Unlimited. We do a monthly drawing, and we are now in the month of August, so this will be the first up for one of, I don't know how many Fridays are in August, probably 4. Most there could be 5. I'll have to do the math. But today's number 1.
There are 4.
855-616-1620. We're going to play some virtual baseball after this on WTMJ.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
I flew home to visit my family in Milwaukee and got all choked up in the rental car. My son's voices were on WTMJ talking about their company, Johnson & Sons Paving. There was never a doubt in my mind when I helped them write their business plan years ago. I was confident as people got to know my sons, Johnson & Sons Paving would become a huge success. Give my sons a call when you need some asphalt, concrete, seal coating, or striping done. JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
I'm certified financial planner Tony Drake with Drake & Associates. If you're retired or looking to retire soon, have you developed a strategy to minimize or eliminate the taxes when you start pulling money out of your IRA or 401k? If you haven't, then you have a very vulnerable plan because taxes are going up in the future. And if you look at the spending our government does, taxes could rise even more. Find out what's missing in your retirement strategy by requesting a copy of my Retirement Ready Toolkit that's loaded with materials designed to help protect you from taxes. Call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982 to get your free toolkit today.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Are you a veteran who needs assistance? Do you know a veteran who needs help? The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs is here for Wisconsin veterans, their families, and their survivors. We can help connect veterans with services such as medical care, financial and legal assistance, housing, mental health services, substance use treatment, and more. For more information, please visit wisvets.com. That's WIS vets.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs with funding provided by the Milwaukee Brewers and the Brewers Community Foundation.
Rain or shine, grab your bat and let's play ball. It's time for virtual baseball. Brought to you by Siding Unlimited on WTMJ Now.
All right, let's get wound up on our Friday edition of Virtual Baseball. Sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Our guests, our contestants, our fans, Chad from Burlington, Mark from West Bend. Let's meet them. Chad, you're first up from Burlington. Tell us about Chad from Burlington. What do we need to know?
Oh, what do we need to know? I'm going to check out State Fair and enjoying the nice weather and hoping that some of this rain bypasses us.
You don't want the rain?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
Chad, what's the first thing you're going to do when you get to the fair?
Probably grab a drink and grab a food or a cream puff or something, whatever I can find that's tasty.
There you go.
There you go.
A lot of options here. All right, let's meet your opponent on Virtual Baseball on this Friday, Mark from West Bend. Hi, Mark.
Good morning.
All right, give me the 30 seconds or less Mark story.
Live in West Bend, tow truck driver. Was at the fair last night, enjoyed myself.
You say tow truck driver?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for all the hard work and keeping us safe on the roadways. I know that's a tough job, especially the way people drive. What's your sense since you're a tow truck driver? Are we getting better at driving or worse?
Worse. Everybody's on their phone. I can count how many people aren't on their phones.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. All right, gentlemen, we always kind of lay out the ground rules. So picture us assembled around home plates at American Family Field, and producer Charlie will lay out the ground rules for this edition of Virtual Baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited.
All right, Sandy, Steve, Chad, Mark, there are two players, that is Chad and Mark. Each player gets a separate set of 10 highlights. Each set includes an equal number of home runs, triples, doubles, singles, and outs, numbered 1 through 10. You get 5 selections, and after 5 swings, you are done. We only record the hit in the highlight, not the runs scored in the highlight. After 5 swings, the number of runs tallied becomes your final score. If there is a tie, the home team gets to try and walk it off. The first caller selected is always the home team.
All right, Mark, you're the away team. As you heard, 10 possible choices, 5 that you're going to make. The idea is scoring the most runs. And Chad will then have to try to match or beat your total. He could walk you off. He could experience the fun and amazing success of winning a $500 gift card. That's all up for grabs, plus a WTMJ prize package. Mark, what is your first choice?
Number 6.
Number 6 is Joey Weimer.
Hearn brings home the 2-2 pitch. Line drive past the glove of Arcia and into left field. Caratini will score. Terang stops at third. It's an RBI single for Weimer. His third driven in this series for Joey, and it's an 11-2
all right.
ball game.
All-important base runner. We need base runners to score runs. So, Mark, your second pick.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Andrew Monasterio.
Irvin's first pitch to him is a line drive into right center field for a base hit. Around third and headed for home is Frelick. There will be no throw, and the Brewers have tied it at 2 on an RBI single from Andrew Monasterio.
All right, first and second, 2 men on. For your third pick, Mark, what is it?
Number 1.
Number 1 is Christian Yelich.
A 1 to Yelich. And line down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Should be extra bases for Yelich. Terang's around third. He will score. Stopping at third is Weimer. And Yelich checking into second with an RBI double gives the Brewers a 2-1 lead.
All right, Mark, you have a run in. You have runners at second and third. So let's get those runners in. Your fourth your fourth pick.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Tyrone Taylor.
Lively kicks and delivers the pitch, and Tyrone a high drive. Left field, Benson back. Track, gone! Taylor with a 2-run shot, and the Brewers break the ice.
In this case, it's a 3-run shot. Mark, you have put 4 runs on the board. There's still another homer out there. Your 5th and final pick, what is it?
Number 7.
Number 7 is William Contreras.
Contreras 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch mashed into the gap in left center field. This is way back, and it's going to land off the track and one hop to the fence, and Contreras does it again. In from second.
Mark, you've scored 4 runs, which is a pretty significant total, so we'll let that lie where it lies. What's the saying?
We'll leave it there.
Leave it there. That's easier to say. Chad, so that's your mission. You've got to score 4 runs to tie, 5 to walk them off, and 5 is the most you can score. You only have 5 at bats. Chad, what's your first pick?
Let's go with 7.
Number 7 is Tyrone Taylor.
Ball deep left field. Garrett retreating back onto the warning track at the wall. Bye-bye baseball. Tyrone
quick
Taylor
start.
goes deep. His 3rd of the season, and the Brewers
Chad puts a run on the board, so he's trailing 4-1. Leave it where it lies is the actual saying. All right, Chad, pick number 2.
All right, let's go with number 1.
Number 1 is Andrew Monasterio.
As the 2-2 comes home, and this is a soft liner to first base, caught by Smith, and the inning is over to finish.
All right, that's not helpful, Chad. You've got 1 run in with the home run. You got 3 at bats. You got to get at least 3 runs across to tie and force a tiebreaker. What's your 3rd pick?
Number 4.
Number 4 is Joey Wiemer.
3-2 pitch. Line drive, right field, falling fast. It's in there for a base hit. Scoring from third, Monasterio. Terang coming to the plate. Then the throw is up the first base line from Thomas. Joey Wiemer, 2 outs, 2-run single. What an at-bat.
All right, runner on first, so that's good. You need base runners. Pick number 4 for Chad.
Let's go with number 8.
Number 8 is Bryce Terang.
2-2. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a line drive. Back up the middle and into center field for a base hit that will tie this game up. Scoring from third, Adames. Right behind him, Canna. And all the way to third goes Monasterio.
All right, here's where it gets interesting, Chad. You have a 5th and final selection. You have 2 potential runs on base, and 1 run in. So if you walk off a home run here, you'll tie him. I should say walk off. If you hit a home run, you'll tie him here, and that would force the tiebreaker. So we need a home run here. There's 1 on the board. Your 5th and final pick.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Bryce Terang again.
1-2 pitch. Line drive right center field. That's going to plug a gap and go all the way to the wall. Anderson's going to have an opportunity to score, and he will. Terang is on his way to third.
All right, you didn't get it done, Chad, but you were very respectful. 3 runs in. Mark, thanks for playing Virtual Baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Mark, you are our winner. Not only do you win a WTMJ prize package, but a chance to win a $500 gift card in our drawing for August from the folks at Siding Unlimited. How do you feel, Mark?
Great. I appreciate it.
All right, hang on the line. That has been Virtual Baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Take us to break, Charlie.
And behind the Brewers dugout, everybody okay down there? Yep. Hey, little guy got it.
He's a little bit excited.
It really is. Jumping up and down. They're trying to get him down. He got stuck on the top of the screen.
Where are we putting that money, and why are we putting it there?
right.
At Financial Strategies, you'll get answers to those questions to understand our approach. And the answers are going to be based on what we've learned about you. We're very engaged with our clients so that what we do for them fits their particular needs. But there are other things that we do that are equally important to the investment management portion of our services. I can't express how important it is to control the things you can control. At the end of the day, most investment managers will end up yielding similar overall returns. But knowing how to manage them wisely to avoid your nest egg being eaten away by the tax man, all legally of course, well, that's what I truly believe sets us apart. This is Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., and we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
This wasn't how Patrick here in Milwaukee pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of severe knee pain.
It hampered everything. Does it hurt to walk around the golf course? It hurt to swing. Just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I'm gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
The technology frustrations we hear about, hands down, ease of use.
We take that complexity out of it and keep it down to the bare minimum of what they need and what they use.
Our goal is to lend a level of simplicity that any knowledge level can walk into that room and at a glance know exactly how to turn that room on and utilize all of its features.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
WTMJ Now.
We're broadcasting live from the Wisconsin State Fair, and Sandy and I have been kicking around this idea, and I brought it back because I like it. So I was a mayor at one time. I know people get sick of me talking about that.
It's an important experience.
I loved it. We had a lot of fun in Oak Creek. And joining us in studio here in the Bank 5-9 studios is the mayor of Waupun, Wisconsin, one of my favorite mayors because he's forward-thinking, which we'll get to. Ron Bishop, welcome, Mayor.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Let me turn your mic on. That's on me.
All right.
I'll say hi.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good.
Way to make me look bad out of the gate.
That's on me. So you have your family out
I
here,
do,
your kids.
yep.
Introduce them real quick for our radio audience.
Well, it's
even though they
radio,
can't see
but
them.
my wife Jenny's here. She's a teacher in Waupun.
I love
my
that.
daughters Reagan and Maggie, and my in-laws Keith and Lois Greenfield. We come down every year together.
They're all waving out there. Now, that shows how smart we are because we both married teachers.
Yeah, they get a better pension.
That's not where I was going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, we're fortunate because she gets the same days off as the kids and helps schooling in the summer so they don't fall behind and all of that. And it's kind of cool. It's going to be her first year into the Waupun School District. She's coming from 17 years in Omro and is really excited to have now just a 6-minute commute to the Waupun Junior Senior High School. And then our girls are so involved in dance and after-school activities, it's really going to help a lot.
I had two girls, too, and I experienced many of the same things. And I took a wonderful tour of Waupun last summer, I believe.
August it was, too, I think.
Yeah.
Late August, yeah.
And I had a blast. And I've told people before, there's a lot of cities in Wisconsin that people might drive by and kind of forget about. You shouldn't, because you have a fantastic city.
There's more than a prison. Like when I go around Wisconsin and I introduce myself, like, hey, you have a prison. I'm like, well, actually, we have 3.
Yes.
But it's more than that. You know, we brand ourselves as the city of sculpture. Waupun has 7 outdoor bronze sculptures that were gifted by a gentleman named Clarence Shaler.
They're incredible, large structure.
And the oldest one is turning 100 years old this October.
Which one is that?
The Recording Angel, the one you took a picture of for Twitter out by the cemetery.
Right.
And she turns 100 years old this year, and we're having a centennial rededication as we rebrand Waupun as the city of sculpture going forward. And it's something we want to promote and advertise. It's a cultural asset that's very unique to Waupun.
Public art is important.
Oh, it is.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful to celebrate that.
And it's so much history of Waupun. The world famous end of the trail sculptures there. Every day tourists come to town to see it. It's on like nowadays with the internet, people know about it. There's adult geocaching that a lot of times includes their sculptures. So it is an asset that brings people into the community. It's a cool thing to see.
So I wanted to, when I kickstarted my mayor to mayor thing, I wanted to bring mayors on, local leaders, not just mayors, village presidents and county executives and all that stuff. Things you're focusing on. So you send out a newsletter every week, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what are the things in that area, your community? Because I think it goes beyond just the district of Waupun, city of Waupun. What are some of the things you're talking about with your constituents right now?
Well, it's funny because you probably experienced this too, Steve. The weirdest thing about being the mayor is when I go into City Hall and sit down with the administrator and the staff, the stuff you have to deal with versus what your constituents are concerned, they're two different things.
Right.
When you're in the building, it's personnel issues, it's the budget, it's that stuff. When you're out and about, it's, hey, there's people speeding on my street. Well, Waupun, you came through it. It's a very clean and pretty town.
It is.
Like anywhere else, we have a handful of some properties that are a constant problem. So in this week's mayor's column, I politely call out a couple of them, not too specifically, but to tell the public what we're doing to try to clean things up. Because 2 weekends ago, I went to the dentist, I went to breakfast, I went out for pizza for dinner, and this one thing kept coming up, and I realized I got to let the public know we are working on this. So much of it doesn't, it's behind the scenes. It doesn't make a lot of news when you're sending the police to go tell someone to clean up a property, but that's the stuff in a small, clean city like Waupun that people really care about.
All right, so I'm an action guy. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I want to have you address. All right, so you've heard the complaints, and they're sometimes vastly different than what we think might be the priorities. What are you doing about them? We'll get to that with Mayor Ron Bishop, City of Waupun, mayor to mayor, broadcasting live from the Bank 5-9 studios right here at the Wisconsin State Fair.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hello, reporting an accident on 43.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, at the HallMazda.com traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Hey, Debbie, this is Al calling. Southbound 894 is backed up all the way to Beloit Road.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
Hi, Debbie. It's Mark. There's an incident on the left shoulder, and it's a parking lot.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
It feels good when I find something really cool and get a great deal on it. But it feels even better when I know that the money I spend actually goes directly to helping others. That's why I shop at St. Vincent de Paul, because I always find the best bargains, and the money I spend stays in Milwaukee County to help fight hunger and eliminate poverty. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton in Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Need a new bank for your small business? How about an old one? For a limited time, you can earn up to a $500 cash bonus when you open a free or basic business checking account with Old National. So think big when it comes to your small business and choose a bank where relationships and results have mattered for nearly 200 years. Visit a local banking center or learn more at oldnational.com/success today. Complete qualifying activities within 60 days of account opening. $50 minimum initial deposit required. Account must remain open 120 days. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
I'll tell you what it takes to get good installation. Hire a crew that cares. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
Hello, Milwaukee. Get ready to turn up the flavor because Rock and Brews Restaurant at Potawatomi Casino Hotel is officially open for business. From the brilliant minds of iconic musical duo Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons of legendary band Kiss, Rock and Brews offers awesome food, drinks, and music, all in one dynamic atmosphere. So, rock and roll over to Potawatomi for an amped-up restaurant experience. Rock, eat, repeat. For more details, visit paysbig.com.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's WTMJ Now.
And we are joined in our studios here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Steve and Sandy with Mayor Ron Bishop. City of Palm. I only got a couple minutes, but first you were telling us a great story during the break. The things you must have when you get to the fair.
Well, we have a family tradition that every year the first thing we go to is the Wisconsin Exposition Building, and my wife gets the loaded baked potato, and my father-in-law each get a couple of grilled cheeses and a line of Kugel Summer Shandy as early as we can to kick off the fair, because
that sounds delicious.
Where else can you have morning beer?
And may I recommend the ribeye sandwich? Had it yesterday from the Wisconsin Expo Building.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I'll check that
Fantastic. All right, so real quick, the action plan for those complaints you're getting, what is Mayor Ron Bishop going to do about it? Because I'm all about the action part of it.
Yep. So we're doing a few things. One, the city council agreed we passed this tougher ordinance on some of these cars that were getting beached in front lawns because they were becoming an eyesore. Two, I have had the cops get more aggressive on code enforcement, and they put 2 officers that's not their full-time gig, but it's a high priority for those 2 to follow up on the code stuff. Tickets have been issued. We've gotten the property somewhat cleaned up. And the other thing I need to do is we have a part-time building inspector because our city's smaller and time is tight, but I think I got to change some of the priorities that we're going through some of these properties more often, because in some cases, the apartments, I don't think people should be living in something like that. We want to make sure the city's clean and people are healthy, and that's on us, and we got to do better, and we're going to.
This is what I'm talking about. He saw a problem. He heard about it. Maybe not the problems you were focused on, but then there's an action plan. Why do you love being mayor so much?
Because you get to make a difference. And you know me well enough. I love Waupun. This isn't a shtick. I talk about it all the time. I was just in Kenosha at a chamber event there on a fishing thing where I got to brag up Waupun, and people are like, gee whiz, we got to come take a tour. I'm like, I give a good one, and it ends in a bar with a good burger and a cold beer. So
the other bar, fantastic,
yes,
by the way.
They get more free press on this show than anywhere.
And probably one of the top collector card stores in the country.
It is.
What's the name of that place?
Real Break Sports Cards, downtown Waupun.
It's unbelievable.
#1 seller of Topps baseball cards in all of America. And it's located in downtown Waupun.
And I toured it last time I was there. It is amazing, and it's a great success story. Maybe I got to bring him on the show, because that story of how he created that business, where he came from, and what it is now is absolutely amazing.
The story of their son and how they took an adversity and look at what it turned into. It's they should make a movie or something about
Mayor
it.
Ron
It's really
Bishop,
cool.
pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Have fun at the fair with your family. They're all out here gathered, waiting for you. That beer is waiting for you out there.
Thank you for all you did this winter,
apparently
spring.
they drank the beer already.
Oh, well, you can't pick your relatives. But thanks for all you did this winter and spring. I do think this show helped a lot with cities my size and the shared revenue stuff. It was the one outlet on talk radio that took our concerns seriously, and we can be frugal, conservative mayors, but if you can't fix roads without money, and you get it, and I think you deserve a ton of credit for what happened, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for the kind words, Mayor Ron Bishop. Mayor to mayor, lots more to get to. We got an 11 o'clock hour before we hand it off to Brian Noonan, who's filling in for Jeff. The news is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing. When you own a well pump, air spitting from the faucets, a decrease in fluctuating water pressure, along with silty, gritty, slimy changes in water quality, are all symptoms that your well pump isn't well. At Austin Plumbing, we're well-rounded plumbers. I say that because we're one of the few companies around who can capably diagnose and repair all the symptoms related to well pump and water system problems. You know when your car needs service, right? Maybe it makes unusual noises. It sputters, jerks, seems weak, or stops altogether. That goes for your well pump too. We have all the special equipment needed and the master know-how required to electronically pinpoint the exact cause of your well and water issues. And we'll give you a price up front before any work begins. If your well pump is telling you it's not well, let's nip small problems in the bud before you're out of water and in deep, expensive trouble. Told you we were well-rounded. Austin Plumbing. Online at teamaustin.com.
Don't go running around with that sword. But with our pitching, we shouldn't have to worry much about runs.
Swing and a miss. Blew him away with a fastball at 94. Williams with the strikeout, and this ball game is over.
Our Brewers Pirates coverage starts tonight at 6 with Brewers Warm Up on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 11:01, it is 78 degrees, sunny, and a high of 79 today. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. Lots of running, swimming, and biking in downtown Milwaukee starting today. It's the Milwaukee Triathlon Festival. 4 races in one weekend. You're going to see road closures, and you're going to see lots of athletes. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel's Lori Neckel.
They're expecting 20,000 spectators for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's going to be 7,000 athletes. So there's road closures in Milwaukee, Cudahy, and St. Francis.
Lincoln Memorial Drive shut down right now and will be for most of today. It'll be shut down through the weekend as well. Also, the Hone Bridge open right now, but it will see some shutdowns throughout the weekend. Again, the Hone Bridge because of the Milwaukee Triathlon. 14-year-old boy from Milwaukee facing charges after admitting that he accidentally shot and killed a 9-year-old. This happened inside a vehicle in a parking lot near 76 and Mill Road last month on the city's northwest side. Milwaukee General Sentinel says the boy admitted to finding a gun in a glove box and accidentally shooting Harwinder Singh. Singh was a 9-year-old boy, fourth grader at Milwaukee College Prep. Because of that incident, a gun lock giveaway is going to be held tomorrow at the Prince Hall Masonic Temple on North Avenue. Much more comfortable today after a hot start to the Wisconsin State Fair.
On a hot day at the Wisconsin State Fair, one of the most popular vendors is not the cheese curds or the exotic meats. It's the Salvation Army's free cold water stand. Macy is here manning it with her grandparents. She tells WTMJ.
My grandma just kind of signed us up, and we like to volunteer together. We've done it many times before, and it all just ends up very fun.
Macy and her family will be manning the water fountains for 4 hours. She says
everyone really likes it.
At the Wisconsin State Fair, Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Brookfield native Joe Thomas will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame tomorrow. Thomas went to Brookfield Central High School, also a star offensive lineman at Wisconsin before spending his entire career with the Cleveland Browns. ESPN Milwaukee's Mark Tauscher says Thomas's work ethic made him stand out.
He has always had the underdog mentality, even though he's been a stud his whole career. I think had he ever accepted the fact, yeah, I'm really good and I don't have to work, I don't have to go through all the minutia, I don't know if he'd have been a Hall of Famer.
Tauscher among the large contingent from Wisconsin expected to be on hand for that induction ceremony tomorrow. News about your money. Out with a new report is the Labor Department revealing strong but slowed job numbers for the month of July provide some relief for the Federal Reserve. That growth could finally be cooling off. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
This is the kind of jobs report that the Federal Reserve has been looking to see. The job growth is still strong, 187,000 new jobs in July. But at the same time, that overall pace of hiring is cooling off. Employers aren't going at this red hot pace that we've been seeing in the months coming out of the pandemic and really until recent months.
How is Wall Street responding? News about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 226, 35,442. The NASDAQ is up 124, and the S&P is up 28. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:05.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
Things we've learned when the power goes out. You forgot to click save on that report you're typing. Ice cream melts faster than you realize. And a bathroom with no windows is a dark and lonely place. That's why letting Mr. Holland's Home Services install a brand new backup home generator is such an enlightening experience. Our Power Pros hardwire your new whole house generator directly into your home's electrical system. This fully automatic unit features rapid start technology, powering on and off as needed in the blink of an eye to add some spark when your neighbor's lights go dark. Keep the refrigerator fridging, the lights lighting, and the television televisioning. And if you already own a generator, Mr. Holland's crew is also authorized to service most brands. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services to schedule the installation of your backup home generator. 866-992-1717. Or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If your power has lost its luster, we can help.
The golden days of summer are here. More Brewers games, sun-drenched days of tailgating, and exhilarating summer nights are waiting for you at American Family Field. Embrace it all with your crew while Brewers baseball season reaches its peak. Because the best days of the year won't be here forever. Make the most of it and plan your game day at Brewers.com today.
Let's face it, selling a home is stressful, difficult, and costly. The repairs, the showing your home to strangers, the months it takes to get to closing. And then what do you do with the 20 years of belongings you've accumulated? There's an easier way, and you have nothing to lose to try it out. Grandview Homes will give you a no-obligation, fair cash offer and close on the day you choose. We buy your home completely as is, no repairs whatsoever. Take the belongings you want and leave the stress and the mess to us. Call or visit grandviewhomes.com.
Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Milwaukee Brewers bounced back in a big way on Thursday night following the rough road trip, defeating the Pittsburgh Pirates at American Family Field by a final score of 14-1. With the victory and another Cincinnati loss, the Brewers now leaders in the NL Central Division by just a half game. Game 2 of the 4-game set between the Brewers and Pirates will get underway tonight with coverage beginning right here on WTMJ at 6:35. Big changes coming to Madison this season as Wisconsin will now offer beer, wine, and prepackaged alcoholic beverages for Badger basketball and hockey games at the Kohl Center and LeBron Arena. And lastly, to the NFL, where training camp rolled on in Green Bay Thursday with another full padded practice for the Packers. Next up for the team is Family Night, which will get underway inside Lambeau Field beginning at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Checking the roads now at your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 through the zoo and into the city right now is looking all right. Heads up, though, there is a disabled vehicle blocking the right shoulder on right around 25th Street heading into the Marquette. So you're going to see some roads there. Might slow some things down because you'll see some cars on the side of the road is what I meant to say. But you should get in just fine. Meanwhile, 43 southbound, it's touch and go, very slow near Capitol Drive because of the road work being done there. So you're going to squeeze through that stretch there, but you're going to notice some brake lights. And then a reminder, Lincoln Memorial Drive shut down because the triathlon's taking place today through the weekend. Home Bridge open today. It's going to be shut down, though, for portions of tomorrow and Sunday.
Traffic is brought to you by Crest Cadillac. Find them at crestcadillac.com. Crest Cadillac of Brookfield, located on Capitol Drive, just west of Interstate 41. Discover Crest Cadillac at crestcadillac.com.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny today, a high of 79 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 67. For your Saturday, more clouds tomorrow. There is a chance for light rain or late rain tomorrow, a high of 80. Sunday, maybe some storms, could be strong. Keep an eye on the forecast for Sunday, a high of 80. Monday, some rain in the morning, otherwise partly cloudy, a high of 80. Tuesday, sunny and a high of 82. Right now in Milwaukee, it is 78 degrees. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:09.
Grab some cheese curds and cream puffs. It's time for WTMJ Now. Broadcasting live from the Bank 5-9 studio at the Wisconsin State Fair. Here's Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
Indeed, we are broadcasting live from the Wisconsin State Fair Bank 5-9 studio. Sandy Max alongside, having fun at the fair, had some great conversations during the news break. That is what I love about being out and about. Those live conversations, they tell you why they love the show. Sometimes they even give me criticism, which, as you know, I welcome.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing something that you don't like or you approve of, disapprove of, I want to hear about it so that we can make the show better.
And what I love about radio is the power of connection. It's not the power just of broadcasting and telling people what you think. It is that connection and hopefully bringing people together. So this is a great space to see people from all over the state, and heck, we stream on WTMJ.com all around the country if they're coming in as tourists. But it really is invigorating and fun, and everybody's in a pretty darn good mood on a summer morning. Strolling around State Fair, lots of smiles, lots of sunglasses, and happy people. So
now,
this is good.
Speak of connections.
Yeah.
I said this last week when we had her on the show. Libby Collins joining us from our GKB studios, the Avenue studios there on Wisconsin Avenue.
Connected with some of the most influential people.
I want her Rolodex. I said it last week. Hi, Libby Collins.
Hi. I wish I were at the fair with you because I'm craving a cream puff.
We'll save one for you next Friday. Come on out.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah. How about a live edition of the chat with Libby? I think that we could make that happen.
Well, we'll talk about that later in the week.
All right. So every Sunday morning you have a little program. Well, you do the Wisconsin Weekend Morning News, but also the Sunday Conversations. So the last few weeks we love to kind of visit with you to see who you're going to talk to and what you're going to talk about. And this is a good one this week.
You know, it really is, because I was told when I said, I'd love to talk with Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball. A lot of people said, Lib, not going to happen. She just doesn't open up to many people. So I worked on it, and I tried, and she was kind enough to spend about an hour with me in the studio. And I have to tell you, I am so just actually impressed by the quiet presence that she has, and her background is amazing. You joined the police department at a time when there still were not that many women. How difficult was that to navigate?
It was challenging because as a result, you're in a male-dominated field, and some of the males thought that you were taking jobs away from them who needed to provide for their family. You could go to a house and they would ask, where's the real police, and call for a supervisor, and luckily the supervisor would say, if you need service, this officer is here to help you. Otherwise, we're leaving. So there were still some barriers in that respect. And I also would work from time to time with a police officer who didn't say a word to me for 8 hours unless it was work-related.
So you were in the same squad car with somebody for a full shift, and they wouldn't talk to you unless, check that guy out over there.
Or unless we were dispatched to an assignment and he had to ask a question or two of me based upon what the investigation was or what I found out. But otherwise, we drove around for 8 hours and he never said a word.
Imagine making it through that. And Sandy, I think, especially you can identify with that because, we know sometimes it was difficult for women in the early days when they were first on the air. And certainly with women who were the first women on police force departments, they experience this. This isn't just Dr. Nanita Ball that went through that. And she shares that and opens up. And you have no idea how difficult that must have been for a person. They were just trying to do her job. And she also was one of these people, she always wanted to be a police officer. She grew up to a single mother. Her grandmother raised her in a small town in Arkansas. But all she ever wanted to be was in law enforcement. And to have made it through there and kept her head high and managed to have a full career was amazing. And here's the other part. She opened up about a very personal journey that she had as well, shortly before she was set to retire from MPD. Do you remember the day you were told you had cancer?
I do. Dr. Tijo was my doctor at the time. They had done a battery of tests, and they didn't think that it was cancer when I first came in. It's probably not cancer, but let's do the test and make sure. When I found out, my heart just stopped. I never thought that I would have gotten cancer. You hear about others who are going through it. Some don't win, and others, they do. A dear friend of mine, she had it. My executive assistant, I told her about it. She said, do you mind if I call Karen and then she can talk to you about how she handled it? I mean, she lost hair. I mean, the whole 9 yards, chemo and radiation, and did all of that and came back. And she came and we had probably a 2-hour discussion about it. And just because I saw that she battled and she won that battle, it gave me encouragement.
And that is the amazing thing about her. She came back, and not only did she finish out her term with the Milwaukee Police Department, she went on to the rest of her career.
Libby, I had a chance to interview her a couple of times, and I told her both times, because like you, I kind of explored where she had been, her journey, some of the trials and tribulations of her life. And I said both times, I am so impressed by the person, Danita Ball. Forget about the position that you hold. Her resume is like impeccable. It's layered with so much experience and real knowledge. And to hear her share those stories of being mistreated or ignored, which most women will tell you is a common theme. I'm so inspired by someone like that. And that's exactly who, I guess my big point is, that's the kind of people who should be in leadership positions.
Oh, no doubt about it. And she opens up a little bit about her personal life, which is kind of interesting because, that's something that normally doesn't come forward. But we talk about all of this on Sunday. And, she is married to somebody who was a pretty big deal on the Marquette basketball team as well. So we get into all of it on Sunday's Conversation.
Strong woman. I'm so glad you're bringing her story to us.
Oh, you know what? It was so enjoyable to talk with her. And Sandy, if you want to hear more about our leaders who are in law enforcement, if you go back on the Conversations website, on our page on the WTMJ website, you can hear, we talked with Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman a while back. And again, a very interesting person who has really dedicated his life to law enforcement and leadership.
Libby Collins, the host, great host of Wisconsin Weekend Morning News and Sunday Conversations. Libby, always great to talk to you. You have been killing it on the guest list for the last few weeks, and I look forward to hearing about your next ones. I'm sure you're already working on those.
Oh, we certainly are. I never stop.
Hard-working lady, Libby Collins. Thanks, Libby.
Thanks. Have fun at the fair.
We will do that. Stephen Sandy live from the Wisconsin State Fair. We are in the Bank 5-9 studios. If you're out here, come out and say hi. Lots of people have done that already. Took some pictures a little while ago. I usually try to get out during the breaks. We've got about 45 minutes or so of show left, and we'll hand it off to Brian Noonan, who's actually going to sit in with us in a little bit. He's filling in for Jeff Wagner today. He's taking a well-deserved day off. Fridays at the fair, it almost doesn't get any better than this. The weather is fantastic. Big crowds already. Take your time coming in. Be patient. The lines are long. You'll have fun. I've seen some friends I haven't seen in 20 years I saw walking around. All part of the fair experience as we broadcast live from our studios here at the fair. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Are you ready to play ball? Grab your bat and put on your helmet for virtual baseball with Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi every Friday at 10:35 on WTMJ Now. Compete with other WTMJ listeners.
2 at-bats left. You can do this. It's going to require some big hits, though.
And you could win a WTMJ prize package. It's virtual baseball on WTMJ Now. Brought to you by Signing Unlimited.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. For Advent, I've talked about it before, snoring issues, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. That is not a recipe for feeling rested and ready for the day. Well, I decided to do something about it. I went to Advent, one of their great facilities, talked to their docs. In a quick 30-minute visit, they put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They found out my problem, sinuses, nasal passage in my breathing triangle. Everybody's different solutions for different problems. But in my case, after a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, better than ever. And this is the big one. My wife, Kathy, and I are sleeping through the whole night. Uninterrupted sleep. If that's your goal, and it should be, if you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
When you're at State Fair this year, be sure to check out the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater, State Fair's largest free entertainment venue. Featuring acts like Kids from Wisconsin, Here Come the Mummies and Pat McCurdy, Bank 5-9 is a proud sponsor of the fair and a proud supporter of the local Wisconsin communities they have served since 1859. So grab your bucket of lemonade or beer, something on a stick, and join Bank 5-9 between August 3rd and the 13th. Member FDIC.
You can rely on Blaine's Farm and Fleet for the best prices on products that deliver, like Champion. Increase the utility of your ATV or UTV with a 2,000-pound capacity winch kit priced at $79.99. Other Champion winches also 10% off. Get reliable performance year after year with a GPI 12-volt, 18 gallons per minute pump with auto nozzle filter kit. On sale $569.99. And stock up on 5-gallon pails of Blaine's Farm and Fleet 15W40 diesel oil or premium tractor fluid. Your choice, $64.99.
WTMJ Now.
Hey everybody, this is Max with another Wisconsin State Fair fun fact. Did you know that pig races made their debut in 1986? Now you do. Back to the show.
I like that Max just drops the knowledge and goes.
Yeah, he's quick.
Did you know this? Now you do.
Yeah, I tried to make it fast with the young man. That's Brian Noonan joining us in studio. He'll
Hi,
be filling in
guys.
For Jeff. Max is my 7-year-old grandson, who has carved out his own special media profile.
He's got a good delivery. The kid gets right to the point. He doesn't mess around. There's no extra words. It's perfect.
So his launch on my show has propelled him. You'll like this because you're a stand-up guy. He's up north on his summer trip with his family, my daughter and her husband, and the local place where they're hanging out for dinner has a open mic night. So young Max suggests to mom and dad, hey, I got, because he does his joke of the week.
Sure.
I got like 5 or 6 jokes. He goes up there and does a little stand-up and got a standing ovation from the restaurant crowd at age 7.
It's nice, too. At 7, nobody's going to heckle him. So even if he's not doing well, and I'm sure he did great, but nobody's going to, they're not going to crush his dreams at 7, which is beautiful.
No. And I love the fact that you're filling in today. So I don't know if a lot of my listeners know you that well, because you host WTMJ Nights.
Correct.
Give us the background, because it's a pretty unique background.
It's an unusual I don't know if it's unusual. It's just how I lived my life. So I majored in radio TV in college at Southern Illinois University. I did radio in some small markets. And then while I was working at one of those markets, I started going into St. Louis and doing open mic nights. I was older than 7, and people did not give me a standing ovation the first time.
No. How tough was that?
I guess some nights were really easy and some nights were really tough, just like any job. Some days you go to work and it's like, man, I can't believe they're paying me for this. And other days you go to work and you go, I can't believe I'm going to come back here tomorrow.
What was I thinking?
Yeah, it's exactly right. And that's it and I think any stand-up would tell you that. And then I was on the road for about 20 years doing everything from small theaters to bowling alley lounges to Vegas to all that. We moved out to L.A. for about 8 years.
Is that agony or is that just fun? You're doing something crazy that a lot of people don't get to experience.
It was really fun, and then when our daughter was born, it became harder to be on the road. And then, when we were in California, I stayed there most of the time, but I would always come back to the Midwest, especially for 3 weeks between like Thanksgiving and Christmas to make that holiday money, and that was always tough. But it's, boo-hoo. It's like anybody who you can complain about your job. Everybody does, and that's perfect. But there's not a lot of people who are going to go, oh, really? What'd you work, an hour a day? But there's a lot that goes into all that, but it was fun.
So the obvious question that I have is, how does being a stand-up and all that experience, some good, some great, some bad, how does that relate to hosting WTMJ Nights?
Well, the great thing about being a stand-up and having done radio before I did stand-up, and then everywhere I went on the road, I would come in and do radio, whether morning radio, afternoon radio, and I never was one of those guys who said, just feed me this bit so I can do my line. I would listen to what the show was talking about, and I would come in and talk. And I had gone through Second City, so I know how to improv. And for radio, the same thing as with stand-up, we're making connections with people. The people who listen to us, hopefully, they like us, or even if they disagree with us, they want to hear what we have to say, and they feel like they know us. And that's why I really like radio. It created a little theater of the mind. It created a connection that a lot of things don't.
You could be entertaining.
Sure.
And connect.
Hopefully. That's the goal. That's the goal every time I open the mic. I leave it to others to decide that.
I know where is the place, not to bring up really devastating memories, but like where you were like, oh no, could I please crawl off the stage? There are those nights where and then what brought you back up after that?
Well, I'll answer the second part first. Stubbornness and stupidity brought me back up. There's no doubt about it. Because if you're too thin-skinned, it's ridiculous. Well, imagine if, and I know you guys don't, but let's say one day, hypothetically, you have a show that's not the best. Are you never going to come back? No, you keep coming back because you know it's what you want to do. I had once in a very small club, a guy threatened to fight me. He was heckling, and so that was weird. But then I was, I was yelling back, and ends up he was gone before I got off stage because I told him, I'm really big and hard to miss. I'll be right outside.
That was probably smarter than saying, "Well, come up here on stage. Let's really entertain the fans."
The most memorable thing ever. I was working a club that it was actually the first club that ever paid me, and I would go back there all the time. And right down front, there was a couple. And all of a sudden, a woman walks in the back with a little kid. And she walks right up, and the people were sitting as close to me as you are, Sandy. And the woman says to the guy, "You going to introduce me to your girlfriend?" And the guy's eyes get this big, and he stands up, and he's yelling at the wife, and the wife is yelling at him, and the kid is crying, and they're going out the back door. And the girlfriend is still just sitting now in the front row. And I'm like, you could go if you want. She's like,
I would say that's while you're on stage, so the floor show broke out right in front of you.
The floor show, and I was as hypnotized as everybody else in the room. I was just like, this is unbelievable. Yeah, I'm going to watch this unfold because nothing I can say is going to top this drama.
Now I feel like this should be the plant. You should have taken like actors around with you and just staged this every other show that you played.
No, it's there's every crowd is so different, every room is so different. It was just it's fun.
He is Brian Noonan. He's going to host for Jeff today.
Yes.
Jeff takes a well-deserved day off, and you're also the host of WTMJ Nights. I want to ask you a personal question because I've had this secret desire to be a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Now, some of my bosses in the past said, you're not that funny, Steve, so don't. But I would argue it's not just about being funny, it's about being a storyteller.
I would agree 100%.
So hold that thought.
Yes.
Think about it. We'll take a break. Steve Sandy, live from the Bank 59 studios at the amazing Wisconsin State Fair.
More of WTMJ Now after this. A Brewers game and a Vienna beef hot dog. Ah, the perfect recipe.
Wow, this is really good.
The only thing to make it better? Winning tickets to the Brewers game with Ticket Tuesdays on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Every Tuesday at 3:35, it's Ticket Tuesdays, presented by Vienna Beef, the official hot dog of the Brewers. Better than all the rest.
Hey, Eric Bilstead here with WTMJ's Wisconsin's Morning News for J.D. Griffiths. They've been at it for more than 70 years. J.D. Griffiths has been Milwaukee's premier provider and builder of garage doors. My wife and I went to jdgriffiths.com, set ourselves up for a free at-home estimate. It was terrific. It was easy. And now we are the proud owners of 2 new garage doors customized to what we wanted. jdgriffiths.com is the website. And by the way, J.D. Griffiths does more than just brand new garage doors. They also service and repair current doors as well. JDGriffiths.com, again, is the website. So whether you're looking to upgrade your garage door for added customization, increase your home value, or need dependable service and repairs, J.D. Griffiths is here to help you make the most of this summer season and enjoy a hassle-free garage door experience. J.D. Griffiths and JDGriffiths.com. Get your free at-home estimate today.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
It's WTMJ Now.
We are joined in studio by Brian Noonan, the Brian Noonan, yes, host of WTMJ
Oh, my
Nights,
goodness.
stand-up comic,
Actor, bon vivant.
What have you acted in?
Wow, let's see. I've been on Malcolm in the Middle. I've been on Chicago Med.
How do I not know this?
I've been in a number of commercials.
Now you do.
See, Sandy knows because she grilled me when you were nice enough to let me sit in for you a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
So
I
yeah.
missed that. Where was I at? I was in Vegas.
Oh, you were in Vegas. You didn't.
Right.
You were in the Heat Dome.
I love you guys, but I didn't miss you.
I was going to say I didn't think you were going to. You were crying in your beer, going, "Oh, I wish we were back."
So I posed this to you before the break. I've had this fantasy. I want to do some stand-up.
Yeah.
Now I'm not a joke teller per se, but I can tell stories in a humorous way. Now my old boss says, Steve, you should never do this. It's a bad idea. You're not that funny. But I disagree. I can be funny.
First of all, never listen to somebody who tells you you're not funny. My dad, when I was a kid, never thought I was funny.
Well, dads typically don't.
Right, exactly. But bosses are the same as dads. They want to keep you in line. As nice as your bosses are, and our bosses are great, but they still, they're the boss. Mm-hmm. I think anybody who wants to try stand-up should try stand-up. And not just once, because there's a weird thing where the first time you do it, it will go pretty well. Because chances are, you say you're going to do it, your friends will show up, people you know, and they'll laugh.
See, I don't want any friends. I just want to go into a place unknown.
That's how I did it. I never told people that I was doing it at first. But yeah, you should try it. And I agree. I don't tell jokes. I tell stories. And if you can tell stories, and the main thing is, no matter what material you're doing, if people like you, you've got a leg up. You know, if you come out and in the first few seconds they go, oh, we like this person. We don't know, we're not sure why yet, but there's something about them. Even if they come out, you know, somebody might come out gruff and cranky, and they go, I kind of dig this guy's vibe. Or, oh, this woman blasted somebody right away. I like her. We're gonna get along the rest of the show.
So open mic nights are like everywhere.
They are everywhere.
Is that where I should go?
That's how. Yeah, I mean, unless there's a club near you, but that's an open mic night too.
See,
what we ought to do? We ought to get Good Karma to do a little tour. We get a few. The hosts can all come up.
Brian's the headliner.
No,
throw me in there.
No, I'll MC it and bring everybody up, and you guys can all do.
Vince Vitrano can do his impersonations.
Vince can do impersonations. Steve can do stuff. Maybe John. I don't know if John juggles. Maybe he has time to learn.
I think that would be amazing.
What would you do, Sandy? Ventriloquism?
Dance, tap dance.
Tap dance. It'd be a talent show. I love it. Big WTMJ talent show.
Hey, guys yelling my name to the. We're at our studios here.
The Bank 5-9 studios.
He's got a big cream puff. He's teasing me with the cream. Hey, everybody that I know.
And he's eating it in a very unusual way. I'm not.
And he's making cream puffs great again, is what he just shouted to you.
All right.
No, he ate it
Bit into it like a hamburger?
The gentleman ate it like a hamburger.
He did. At first, he was just licking the cream off the side, and now he's eating it like a hamburger.
We have more fans who just walked up, and they're just going to watch him eat this cream puff because it is that entertaining.
I unscrew it. How do you eat one, Brian? Do you unscrew it?
Yeah, I like to unscrew it, and then you get two. Then you get two cream puffs.
Yes, exactly.
I like an open-faced cream puff sandwich.
Sandy's going to
kind of like Oreos.
Yes.
Are you going to have one too this afternoon?
Ooh.
I'm intrigued. I'm delighted.
Yeah.
This man is going to suck this whole thing down in less than a minute.
I would suggest a napkin.
He's going to polish this off.
He has no utensils, no napkins.
He is going to town.
He wants you to see
no
this,
hesitation.
I don't know if any of our cameras are picking this up on the stream, but you're enjoying
if he stands
that cream puff.
if you can move him behind Brian.
He came right over to see you, Steve. I don't know. Are you usually impressed by people who eat in crazy manners? Is that your deal?
Sometimes.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a break. Brian Noonan's sitting in here. We got lots more to do. We got Weekend Review coming up a little bit later this half hour. We are live from the Bank 5-9 studios at the Great Wisconsin State Fair. Steve, Sandy, Brian, right here in WTMJ.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Hello, home shoppers. I'm Tom Hignite, known for building very creative, very high-quality homes. The median price to build a new home in Wisconsin today has ballooned to $455,000, with most new homes in southeast Wisconsin in the $500,000+ area. The market is crying out. It's begging for lower, sane-priced new homes. So, 9 months ago, I set out on my own personal crusade to deliver just that. Imagine this, slightly over, or get this, under $300,000 all in, including the grass. That's right, this weekend you can't see these two new market-shattering homes. You can't even get the floor plan sent to you out of protective caution that these extraordinary homes might be lifted by others. You can, however, see the designs, see the lots we will be building these on this weekend, 1 to 4 at my Tomorrow Ranch model home. Now write this down, 830 Sky Park Drive in Hartford. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath homes, $300,000. Call my wife Jackie now, 262-628-9091. We're Miracle, a Christian-based company.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
WTMJ Now.
having some fun with Brian Noonan. You hear him every night, most nights. Like there's sometimes some Brewers.
It depends on the week.
Yeah.
I think last week was twice. Next week it's 4 nights.
Really?
So it's all it's all different.
And in the wintertime, there's more of you.
Right. As soon as the baseball is over, then before basketball starts, and then when basketball is over, it's spring training, and then who knows? That's the beauty. I'm very enigmatic. People don't know where to find me, when to find me.
I was going to say irregular, but
irregular.
Sure. Works. That's a weird schedule, though. How do you adjust to that?
Every week I get the schedule and I go, oh, okay. And then, I teach during the year, during the school year, so it's one of those where it's like, oh, this week will be a little easier than next week or last week.
What grade level?
First.
First grade?
First grade. Can you believe it?
No, absolutely. I cannot believe it.
That's what most of the kids think, too. We can't believe it.
So walk me through that. I mean, that's one, I'm married to a teacher. I have tremendous respect for teachers.
Well, it started, I've been subbing at this one building for about 7-8 years, and I started covering long-term leaves and things, and because I know the staff, I know the kids, the principal thinks I do a good job, whatever. And then last year they were like, one of our first grade teachers quit. Can you take over first grade? Yeah, I guess. And thankfully then they decided to combine these classes, and I was co-teaching with a woman I'd known for a long time. But it is... I've never tied as many shoes, wiped as many noses, told people to keep things out of their mouths more than I did in first grade.
So, I mean, it's got to be every day's different, right? And with these kids,
every minute is different. They come in the morning and they're talking to their parents on the playground in line, and they're all fine. Everything's great. The minute they go through the threshold, it's like I'm working in a MASH unit. My elbow hurts, my tummy hurts. I have my eye. Kids come up with so many maladies just to get out of the room, and it's like, you're fine. Sit down. You're not going anywhere.
Are you a patient guy? Because I have zero patience.
In general, no. I've gotten better, and thankfully my co-teacher was very patient. So, the kids knew if they had a problem with schoolwork or something like that, they could ask me any question. But if it was boo-boos and stuff, they went to my co-teacher because she is much more nurturing. Because I would look at him and go, your arm is still there. It's not bleeding. And then I would always, the old joke, oh, do I need to cut it off? And I think kids should understand jokes. A lot of kids don't understand jokes, and their eyes would pop open like, no, don't cut it off, Mr. Noonan. I'm like, all right, then I think you're fine. Let's get back to math.
Do you ever take some of the stories? Obviously, you'd leave the names aside, but do you ever take the stories from?
Yes.
That's actually good fodder.
It is good fodder. I'm going to be starting a small tour with some other teachers in the fall, and it's going to be there's a lot of material from teacher, and then the other teachers will come up and tell me stories and go, you should use this one. Yes, I should. That is exactly right.
I love that.
It's the old kids say the darndest things. I love that they continue to provide material to you.
They're nonstop fodder.
Art Linkletter, was that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Art Linkletter.
That's a name from the past, isn't it?
Yeah, and then then it was taken over by Bill Cosby.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Remember when that used to be a fun thing? And now it's like, oh, yeah, Bill Cosby tainted that forever.
I
can't even eat Jell-O anymore. I don't really like Jell-O, but
I hate Jell-O.
I got to leave it because of Bill Cosby.
I grew up listening to Bill Cosby albums, and I'm not ashamed to say it. We didn't know, who he was back then. He was just hilarious.
Last thing for you.
Yes.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to bring you back at the end to see what you're going to talk about on your show. But the comedians that you like, give me some names.
Oh, man, that's so hard because there's so many, and they're different styles. Like, going back when I was first starting out, Richard Lewis, Brian Regan, I got to hang out with Sam Kinison one night after a show.
That's got to be wild.
It was phenomenal.
Genius talent.
And so nice off stage. Not that guy. He went to my 1988 Cavalier with a cassette and played us the demo of Wild Thing in the parking lot of a car. Yeah.
Did he know that all of those rockers were going to be recording that song?
Yes. They had it had all been done. They hadn't released it yet.
Wow.
And he did travel with the two sisters who, I don't know, maybe he was married to one or both. Who knows?
That's a weird story.
It was a weird story, but he was so nice and a voice that couldn't be equaled in comedy.
Died in a car accident.
Yeah, after he had gotten sober. That was the problem. Yeah. That's what was so sad. He had changed everything and was coming back, and, man, some kid runs into him.
All right, so go have a cream puff or whatever you do during your breaks. We're going to do some weekend review sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited, and we'll come back and see what you're going to talk about filling in for Jeff Wagner. We are live from the Bank 5-9 studios right here at the Wisconsin State Fair.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience helping businesses make money and keep it. 2023 is in full swing. How are you doing? Do you have money in the bank, or are you just getting by? Doing the same old, and expecting different results? We help you look at your numbers and understand what they mean so you can make better business decisions. How would you like an extra $10,000 or $100,000 in your bank account? I thought you might. Using tried and true strategies, we have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Our Neal deal guarantees you will increase your profits or you don't pay us. Really. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help you put more money in your pocket. Again, that's nealgroup.net.
Your home is the place where you know your loved ones are secure. But the things that keep your home protected can't keep pests at bay. That's where RAID comes in. For 60 years, RAID scientists have worked to protect people around the world. With trusted research, ingredients, testing standards, and product efficacy, RAID seeks to create a better future for all, especially the ones you love most. RAID, protection for all.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Off Mosquito Repellent, a clean feel so you can accessorize without mosquitoes. You can wear classic whites and jeans and know what you're covered with 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. S.C. Johnson.
When you're at State Fair this year, be sure to check out the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater, State Fair's largest free entertainment venue. Featuring acts like Kids from Wisconsin, Here Come the Mummies and Pat McCurdy, Bank 5-9 is a proud sponsor of the fair and a proud supporter of the local Wisconsin communities they have served since 1859. So grab your bucket of lemonade or beer, something on a stick, and join Bank 5-9 between August 3rd and the 13th. Member FDIC.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Window Siding and Bath. The best in the business is Sidex. Free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ or John Mercure. They're doing our project. Old tub shower is out. New, beautiful, state-of-the-art walk-in shower is going in as we speak. Seasoned design consultants with 30 years of experience, family-owned since 1988. As a matter of fact, Joe is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmen. It's Sidex, the best in the business. It's Sidex.
It's WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve having fun hanging out. I love the fair, and I've said this over and over again. And I'm probably
That's good because it's going to go on a whole other week.
We've got after the weekend, which I'm looking forward to as well, because it's kind of a quiet weekend. We have 6 straight days of shows, a regular WTMJ Now 9 to noon, and then a special Saturday edition 2 to 5.
Yes, with Brian Noonan.
Yeah, who'll be back in a second talking about what he's going to do as part of Jeff's show today. He's filling in for Jeff, taking a well-deserved day off.
We wait a long time, about a year, for the fair to come.
Yeah.
And these are the fun times to soak up and enjoy the sights, the sounds, the flavors, and the people. So I am here for it. Glad we'll be here 6 days next week and finding even more unique stories to tell you about maybe that you didn't think about from the fairgrounds.
Yeah, and we'll bring a lot of that stuff back on the Saturday show as well. And one of my buddies was teasing me going, are there really that many people saying hi to you? I go, yeah, there are. Guy ate a whole cream puff in like 5 seconds out here.
That wasn't my favorite view, but
it wasn't a great look for him. Let me just say that. It was a little messy.
He wore a little bit of it, but that's what happens when you eat a cream puff.
But he made the cream puff mistake of trying to eat it like a hamburger. That never
But he
works.
was diligent. He finished the whole thing, and he was shouting your name. He wanted you to see him eat the cream puff.
My last name he was shouting. I could hear him through the glass. And here's the thing. He didn't eat the whole cream puff because half of it was on his face.
No, he got it. He finished it. Yeah, it was an admirable. But it's been a heck of a week. We're looking ahead to the week next week, but it is a heck of a week this past week.
Yeah, and this week, we always have great stories and the great voices that you hear on WTMJ. This week is no different. Investigating deaths at the EAA, a third indictment for a former president, a fair 172 years in the making, and more. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
Investigations continue. 4 people died, 2 separate crashes near the EAA Air Venture Grounds in Oshkosh on Saturday.
The NTSB will be taking a look at that as far as pilot experience in that type of aircraft in each incident. What happened on Saturday is extraordinarily rare.
I thought they were doing a trick at first. I heard the plane start coming out of the sky and it started spinning. And I told him, and all of a sudden it just made a big splash. And then more and more boats just came circling around it.
Paul Rubens played the iconic Pee Wee Herman on the big and small screen in the 80s.
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
Rubens was privately battling cancer the past 6 years. He was 70 years old.
Eat your heart out, baby!
As rock legends Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley prepare to transition away from the stage after Kiss's farewell tour this year, they tell WTMJ they're convinced their Rock and Brews restaurant will be a huge hit with Potawatomi customers.
Rock and Brews is ultimately the kind of place I would want to come. You will come here that very first time and you're going to walk away with new friends that you're going to keep seeing, that you're going to talk to, even once you leave here.
And you're flying in Brandon, Wisconsin?
Yeah, we're going to be in Brandon.
It's Crandon, Gene, like with a C.
Brandon.
Look out there! A break, a shot off the post!
To be dancing, to be smiling. I mean, the player of the match was that post.
Hey-o!
You were lucky to not be going home right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Just as I have throughout my entire legal and judicial career, I am committed to protecting our freedoms, and I'm committed to fairness and impartiality in our justice system.
Come on in, Greg.
Okay. He's shy.
Not really.
A lawsuit filed today is calling for the state Supreme Court to throw out the GOP-drawn legislative maps.
This suit is just one of many that could force lawmakers to draw yet another set of maps before the 2024 election.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, former President Donald Trump has been indicted on new charges related to the January 6th incident. 4 counts, the former president indicted.
The attack on our nation's capital was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy.
It should shock us, and yet still today we're getting the same silly partisan nonsense. Have we learned anything?
This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot.
On Tuesday, Lizzo and people working with her were accused of sexual harassment, body shaming, and creating a toxic environment on tour. 3 former dancers filed a lawsuit. Lizzo calls the allegations false and outrageous.
There are people that have contacted us and want to be witnesses in the case.
Not a trying to sue me, I don't give two.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Vice President Kamala Harris commenting on Travis King, the soldier from Racine who defected to North Korea last month.
The Department of Defense is working actively on this, and we're going to do everything we can to bring him home.
Artificial intelligence can accurately detect 20% more breast cancers from mammograms.
I'm just trying to picture how it's working.
At the doctor's office, and some weird robot walks up to you and says,
"Sorry, are my hands cold?"
That's not going to be what you want.
Oh, no.
Nope. Grab some cheese curds and cream puffs.
I'm jazzed to be here once again.
And Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers wasn't the only one excited to kick off the 172nd State Fair.
State Fair! How y'all feeling out there?
We're broadcasting live from the Wisconsin State Fair. WTMJ Now, Steve and Sandy. It's a gorgeous day out here. Sandy's goofing around with the computer. She's not in her chair.
It shouldn't make you crazy that I am trying to be a hostess for the wonderful Whiskey Bells.
Go to sleep, little baby. 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 Your mama's going away and your daddy's gonna stay. Didn't leave nobody but the baby.
What a week, eh?
What a week.
F you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Oh, I love the fact that WTMJ Now is prominently featured in the this week's edition of the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. We'll take a break here, final break of our show, and then we're going to see what Brian Noonan, we just had him in studio, he's back. We're going to see what he's going to talk about as he fills in for Jeff Wagner for 3 hours from the fair on WTMJ.